Salute, 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 everybody. Welcome to Miss Parker. Miss Parker, I hope everybody woke up to have a blessed Sunday. I hope church was good. I hope Sunday dinner is good and piping and roasting in the oven. What's on the menu? You know how we do on Sundays. What's on the menu type of thing. Um, the weekend went fast. I can't even remember y'all. It was dang, it was just Friday night. It was just Friday night, and now boom, we here, and it's some old. It's almost a new week, so I'm like, it's scary. Okay, hey Capricorn Chronicles, thank you, sis. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, research, and educational purposes. Because a lot of the time, these lives are very educational and stuff for a lot of us. People that's kind of going through the same thing, people that came out of a situation like this mother or might, you know what I'm saying? It's just all kind of stuff that's just good educational purposes. Shank Rock, Alicia, thanking God for being here. Honey K, Miss T, what's going on? How'd y'all like that live with Bree? I'm giving the mother, Tiara, a chance to play. Hi, F baby. Town War, what it do? While I clean up. Okay, honey, 5K, I'm doing laundry, honey. I'm trying to get that laundry out the way. Hi, Davita. Hi, Jordy. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What y'all cooking today? Thank you, NOF, baby. If y'all can drop NOF's link for me, please. How y'all doing out there? Is everybody good? Y'all cooking roast and meatloaf, barbecue chicken? I know it's going to be some rice lovers in the chat. My favorite color. Thank you. Hey, Nick. Hey, Carmen. What's going on? What's going on, Desiree? What's going on? How y'all doing today? Happy Sunday to each and every one of y'all. I had turkey burgers. I never had a turkey burger. A turkey leg, yes. I mean turkey leg, yeah. Oh my goodness, it was the best. Hey, Angel One at Disney. God, it was high. Thank you, Honey Five K. I thought you was a mod over here. I don't. Hey, Lag. Y'all drop Papa's link for me. What I do, Papa? Happy Sunday, Lag. Lack's a cooker now. Lack cook, y'all. Lack, what you over cooking? Lack, boy, they be having big, Lack, I know it's like almost every time I see you got a Thanksgiving spread. I'm trying my hand at meatloaf. Okay, Alicia, hey, young, what it do, love? Hey, I'm making corned beef cabbage. And that sound good, Jordy. That sound good. I've had it once before, but every time I see it's like a barbecue spread. Like I ain't never seen nothing like that. Hey, T lady, they are delicious. Go to Walmart and get one of those. What about okay? The turkey burgers, Davita. I didn't know they even sold them. I didn't even know they sold them like that. What about turkey burgers? Hmm. I got Tiara up here.
Oh,
Hey, looking
how are you?
beautiful. I love it, Tiara.
Thank you
Happy
so
Sunday to you.
much.
How you doing?
I'm good and happy Sunday to you as well. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, you just got a new barbecue pit. I was asking them. I always ask them on Sundays, what's on the menu? And girl, they make me mad. You hear me, girl? They be coming in here with the biggest meals. And baby, she said, look, Tracy said, I'm making meatloaf, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, corn rolls, strawberry shortcake. See what I'm saying, girl?
Oh, Tracy does. She putting me to shame.
You
Okay.
hear me, girl? They do every Sunday. I'm like, they say, what you cooking, Miss Park? I'll be up here like, yeah, I think I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
found
Right.
me eating out, Tiara. You heard me. Hey,
Yes.
Queen Butterfly. So y'all, this is Tiara. She's down here in the North Carolina area. A beautiful mother. One of the subscribers, M Gray, actually hit me up and she said, Miss Parker, this mother needs help. So she heard your story. It captivated her heart. She said, this is truly sad. Hey, Callie, I love you, sis. Be careful driving, sis. Hey, Mia. So she's like, please help her out. So she sent it to me and another content creator, and I seen it and immediately reached out to you. My sister kind of went through something similar like this, and I told you I didn't believe it because
Right.
you can't believe it. You just can't. Sometimes it just didn't make sense
Yeah.
of the story. And this one's titled "When a Mother Cries, Do We Listen?" And
Yes.
y'all look at that thumbnail because this is a mother that's crying for help. You know what I'm saying? And look, she said I made jasmine rice, baked chicken, broccoli, strawberry cheese cupcakes, strawberry topping. Girl, I told you that I had
Yes.
you fat forever.
Okay.
So yeah, so Tiara, first give us a little rundown about how we got to this place, and then we'll get into it.
Absolutely. So at the time, my son was 16. This was last year in October. And um, teenage stuff. He got caught sneaking out of the house and everything like that. So my husband and I, we punished him, of course. Well, he didn't want to be punished. And so I woke up for work one day or to get my children up for work, and I realized that my son was gone. He had ran away. So immediately I got
Hold
my
on,
children.
Tiara. Hold on,
Go ahead.
Tiara. Not trying to stop you. Can you tell us a little bit about your son? What is he like? What kind of
Yeah.
son is he?
My son, first of all, he's a good son. He's very loving. He's very affectionate. He's very, very sweet. Always have been. He's always been very wise beyond his years. He's my firstborn. So him and I, we were very close. He is a honor student, and he was graduating from this is his senior year, and he was graduating from high school early, and he was going off to college to be an electrical engineer.
Okay.
Um, Again, my son and I extremely, extremely close. He was the type of son that did not mind, hugging me and kissing me in front of his friends and, holding my hand and, always reassuring me that he loves me on a daily basis. I mean, he was a really good son. I still believe that he has it in him to be a really good son. I just know that he's going through some things at the moment.
So let's get back to he ran away. Did the second now we're on the second time, right?
Yeah.
Correct? The second runaway or the third?
No. So this is the first time he's ever ran away.
Okay.
Yes. So he's never ran away before. So again, that's why I was really, really shocked when when I woke up and I realized that he was gone. I woke up my younger son, and then my younger son ran in the room and he said my son had left a letter, and it was a beautiful letter, and I was just very confused. It was like a beautiful letter, but at the same time he had ran away. And so I called my husband and I took my other children to school because I know I needed that time to go look for my son because, again, I am just lost and puzzled. So as soon as school opened, the first thing I did was I called the school and I was crying, and I talked to the principal and I said, hey, I said, my son has ran away. If you hear from him or if you see him, please reach out to me. And, he was very comforting, very reassuring, hey, I'm so sorry this happened to you. If I see anything, if I hear anything, you'll be the first person that I reach out to.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So, how long had your son been going to this school? You said the principal was very reassuring. You said, "Hey, if you see my son, he's ran away," which is the right thing to do,
Mhm.
as a mother. You know what I'm saying and
Right.
stuff. So, what? How long had they been going to this? Your son been going to this school, and how did you like the school? Like, did you ever go and view the school for yourself? Or was it just the area you moved in and your son just attended there? What kind of school is this?
So at the time that it happened, my son was in the 11th grade last year, and he had been going to the school since sixth grade. So at the time, he had been there, what, 5 or 6 years. And at so it's like one school, but it's like two separate locations because one is like the lower school for elementary and middle, and then high school is like a few blocks over. And so he had been going to the high school for 3 years. And so, I mean, I was very involved as far as, going to the back to school night every year and, meeting the teachers. I was very in a lot of communication with his teachers and things like that. I mean, he was a really good student, so he was very popular. He was very well known, and so they knew me and they knew my son. I mean, again, he was very popular. So
And
um,
Tiara, real quick, what kind of school is this? Is it predominantly white, predominantly black, mixed?
it's predominantly white, I would say. it is mixed, and I would say other, because they do have, black and Hispanic and,
Okay.
Chinese and things of that nature, but that only makes up a small portion of the school. So including the lower school as well as the high school, it is a predominantly white school.
Is it a
It,
Catholic school or a private school? I'm sorry.
it's a private school. It's a charter school, but it's considered a private school. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a private
Okay.
school.
Okay. Thank you. They asked in the chat, was it a Catholic or a private school? Because I had one of the mods to kind of see what
Yeah.
she could find, if she
hmm
could find anything else. Have you ever, after me and you talked, did you look anything up to see if anything ever transpired negatively around this private school? Because private schools run different than public schools.
Well, I know that now. And I know that they run differently now since this situation, because I never experienced a situation, any situation, especially regarding my oldest son. So I didn't know the difference between the public school versus, the private school, and like their how it's ran. Um,
So the principal was telling you,
He
you
was
was
very
at.
comforting. He was very comforting. He told me, he reassured me that if he seen my son or if he heard anything, my son, that, he will give me a call immediately. And I believed him, because I've never had any type of interaction with this principal in a negative type of way. And again, my son was such a great student. He was very popular, again, and a great student. So I didn't know, I didn't have any reasons to doubt that the principal would reach out to me. I literally thought that my son will go back to school, however he got there, and I did believe that the principal would reach out to me, and that we would sit down and we would have a conversation, and that all will be resolved. That's what I
Mhm.
thought, and
Mhm.
in turn, that is not what I received at all.
What did you receive, Tiara?
So that particular day, um, my husband and I, we went up to the school because we wanted to see if we like seeing my son on the campus, so that we can kind of approach him, get him, take him home, see what was going on. In return, as we were sitting in the parking lot, I had received a call from Child Protective Services. And so I was a little confused because, let me back up. Prior to us going up to the school, we had called the police. We made a police report, hey, my minor child is missing. That was my first interaction with the police. And I never had an interaction with the police,
Right.
before. And so I was shocked when they was like, hey, there's nothing we're going to do. I mean, we'll give you a police report. And so I was like, oh my God. And so that's when me and my husband went up to the school, and I received the call from Child Protective Services. And so I was a little confused because I'm like, why is Child Protective Services calling me? Or did they find my son or something? Did something happen? I was just very confused. And it
Yeah.
was like, hey, they was like, where are you? Are you home? And we were, I was like, no, can I ask what this is regarding? And they was like, we just need to meet you at your home. So we went and picked up my other two children, and we went home. And they came in and they sat down at my table, and they brought me this list of things that was reported by the school that I just called and spoke to the principal about. It was alleged that, my husband and I, we beat him. He was punched in the face and his mouth was busted. His eye was black. He was pushed on the floor. He was kicked in his ribs. And all of these things were in the report. And so my husband and I, we are sitting at the table like, and let me tell you, when they were reading these things, we were so shocked. But when she said, this is what your son told the school, and the school made the report, for not 1 second did I believe that my son went up
Right.
there and my son made this report. I
Yeah.
thought that they made this report. I could not believe for 1 second that my son wouldn't do this, because number one, it didn't happen, but my son would never do this to me. He knows that he has a little brother and little sister. He would never do anything to jeopardize his little brother and his little sister. And that's what they had in the report. And so I asked the lady, I said, you seen him? You know, I said, did you see a busted lip? Did you see a black eye or anything? And she said, no. She said, your son has braces. And, you know, she said his mouth would have been all busted up. She said, I didn't see anything wrong with your son. She said, I can say that your son is extremely spoiled and that your son, he just really wants to do what he wants to do. And after that, you know, they did like this full on investigation. They started going through my son's room and his closet and pulling his sheets back and, you know,
Wow.
going through my pantry and my refrigerator. And then they interviewed my two younger children. My son was 13 at the time, but my daughter was 6. And they were
Mm.
asking her questions like, do you like living here? You know, are your parents abusive to you? Do you know what drugs are? Do you know what alcohol is? You know, do your parents hit you? Do you feel safe? And my baby girl was just like, what? And at this point, I am sitting on my couch and I am losing it. My son is missing. They got my baby over here scared. They're treating me as though I am a criminal. And I begged you and I cried to you as the principal. And in turn, you called Child Protective Services on me and still no son. And you seen my son because he had to come up here and make this report to you.
Mm. So, what was the pulling of the sheets for? Because we're talking about abuse.
You're right.
So, what, to see if the sheets are clean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because I'm looking at your home, it looks beautiful. I mean,
Mhm.
and you could tell when you in a unkept house.
Right, right,
Period. You know what
right.
I'm saying? I get people throw stuff in the
Hmm.
pantry, in the in the closets and
Right,
things
right.
like that. But to talk to your 6 year old about drugs and things that I know that at 6 we're not saying, hey, don't abuse drugs when you get you know, as they get a little
Right,
older and stuff, we
right.
have those conversations. So to speak of things that I know that might not, what has that, is that a conversation that you and your husband have with your 6 year old about drugs and abuse and things?
You know, honestly, I can say we don't have those type of conversations with her.
Fact.
Um, I I mean, I can admit that she is very green. You know, our conversations with her are more so about safety and strangers, but you know, because those type of things don't go on in our home, we don't sit and be like, and don't use drugs, you know, because then she's going to want to know what drugs are, you know, or you know, I mean, we those were just she's 6, you know. I mean, so those I feel like maybe when she get a little bit older, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we can have so because everything that they asked her, she just kept looking at us like, huh, 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 you know, and it was just I felt we felt so violated as if we
Yeah.
were the criminals or that, you know, and I why is nobody looking for my child? Like,
Mm.
what are we doing here? You know, they took me as a mother crying about this situation with my son. And I felt like they turned it into something towards us as if there was something that we did. Now remind you, he's been going to the school in general for 6 or 7 years. He's been at the high school, of course, for at this point 3 years. Now, one time have you all ever seen a scratch, a bruise? You know, he wasn't unkept, he wasn't, you know, any of these things. You wait until he's in the 11th grade for him to come up here and allege abuse, although he's never had any stain on his record, not one time. And you take this isolated incident, which is we all know teenagers lie. Like we all know all kids lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no adult in this situation, not one, was like, okay, we hear you, but you know, we need to probably, you know, look into this a little, you know, just look into it a little bit more. Like, not saying we don't believe you, but that's
The
kind of
bushes.
far fetched.
Yeah, the Bushes said, unfortunately, if a child reports something to a teacher, CPS, um, the teacher in the they reported to the CPS. She said the school will act as if what the child said is true. She said my niece done it to my brother multiple times.
Hmm.
Someone else said, was this report made before he went missing?
To CPS? No, no, no. This report was not made before he went missing. Again, he's never alleged this any other time. There was never any speculation of abuse, neglect in the whole 3 years that he has been at this school, not one time. He did it on a strength of he did not want to return home. He wanted to run away and he didn't want to return home. So he didn't go to school all day. He only came up to the school at the end of the day. And that's when he reported it. Now let me be clear. I'm not upset about the fact that he made these allegations and that they called CPS, because that's what they are expected to do. That wasn't why I was upset. I was more upset, of course, which we will get into, a little bit, later or in a
Yes.
minute. It was just the way that they took it so far based off of this one isolated incident.
Yeah. So your kids have been questioned and stuff. How long was this incident investigated through the CPS? How long was they coming through? How long did it last, Tiara?
Um, that was their only time coming, and they dropped the case right then and there, and they mailed me the letter in the mail in 48 hours, and I have that letter. I should have brought it down here. I did want to put it up there to the screen, and the letter clearly states on November the 5th that CPS did not need to intervene, and there was no signs of abuse and or neglect.
So, Miss America, and you guys drop Miss America's link. Miss America advocates for mothers such as yourself with different things. She's got Glow Preemies. She has a foundation called Glow Preemies. You guys make sure y'all go check that out. For anybody that had a premature child, she covers a lot of stuff over there. She said North Carolina and California both have issues. It's a national thing. Honey 5K said, I understand what she's saying. I felt so uncomfortable. They had me feeling like a criminal. They said North Carolina has gotten strict. Hey, y'all. So you just felt violated, you and your husband, and I get it, you ain't never had these type of problems, and then boom, you go to check out your son and CPS is, we need to meet you at your house. So I get it, as a parent, you scared your son don't run away, y'all ain't seen him.
Right,
So all kind of emotions are running through, like you said, is this a bad thing? What's going on? Did they find my son?
right,
Nobody wants that something bad happening when you got CPS coming, you just don't know. And we talking about busted eye, busted mouth, and
right,
these allegations and stuff. So
right.
okay, we get to the CPS. They mail the letter within 48 hours. Where do we go next? What happens next, Sierra?
So after that, I did. I couldn't find my son. I could not find my son at all, because of course we had took his phone, so there was no way for me to be able to reach him. And so after a few days, I couldn't go to work. I could not go to work at all. Only thing I can do was just look for my son. But I really did not know where to look for my son. And so I kept reaching out to his best friend's mother. Remind you, this is his best friend since he was 5, and their birthdays are a day apart. So his mother and I, we used to, throw their birthday parties together. And this was his best friend. He went to the school as well. And so I'm reaching out to her and I'm like, hey, have your son seen my son? If you hear anything, please let me know. And so she's comforting me as well. Hey, this is a mother's worst nightmare. I'm so sorry. And so day after day, as I'm looking for my son, she's reaching out to me. Hey, have you heard anything? Have you seen him? Did he come back? I'm praying for you. I'm so sorry. She had my son the whole time.
Mm.
She had
So
my
this
son.
is, thank you, Roz. So look, wait a minute. She's telling you this is the worst. This is a worst mother's nightmare, and
Mm-hmm.
all it is
Mm-hmm.
comforting you,
Yes.
asking you, have you seen your child?
Mm-hmm.
How did you? Mm, how, how
This
did
is
you?
how, so. This is how I found out. So 4 days later, I went. I went to the Mint Hill Police Department. I had them escort me to the school because at this point, I got beef now. Now at this point, I'm upset. I'm hurting. I have not been able to find my child. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know if he's cold. I don't know we're not originally from here, so I don't have a lot of family here, so I don't know where my child is. So I have the police escort me to the school, and so we were sitting in there, and I'm talking to the principal, and I said, "Well, when is the last time you seen my son?" And he said, "I seen him probably about 2 or 3 days ago." And I said, "Where did he go?" He said, he said he got into a car with a friend of his, with his mother, with a friend of his and his mother. I said, "Well, who was the friend?" He said, "Oh, I just know his nickname is CJ." I said, "Well, who was his mother?" And he said, "Well, I don't know the mother." He said, "I believe her last name is White." You had one job. Your one job is to protect these students. Where does it say on my child's paperwork that this unknown person has the authority to take my child off this campus without my permission? You just he got into a stranger, according to you. He got into a stranger's car in your face. You didn't get her name. You didn't speak to her. You didn't get her license plate number. She could be on a run for murder. We don't know. We don't know. You just let my child just get into the car with anybody, and you haven't seen him in a few days.
And,
Really?
and is this the same woman that was calling you? And,
Yeah. That's how.
like,
That's how I found out that he was with the best friend's mom.
through the principal.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
Tierra.
Yes.
Y'all, just imagine, like she said, just imagine going to the school and your son still ain't been present. Cause don't nobody want no poo. Don't nobody want no bad news. But after
Right.
so many days, you start to get worried.
Yeah.
All kind of emotions. Or you
Yeah.
don't have CPS. The allegations, Tiara, was you still even thinking, is did my son really say this? Like even after the
Yeah.
CPS, were you still thinking, I don't
Yeah.
think my son said
Yeah.
this and did this? Now you got the principal saying, oh yeah, he got in somebody's car. I don't know who he
Yeah.
is. What?
I honestly, and even the police, every time I made contact with the school, so I wouldn't go up in there and tear things up, I made sure I had the police escort me every time. Even the police was like, "You let the child just leave with anybody?" I mean, even he was taken aback, like, I mean, this is when although I didn't know that things were still going to go even further at that moment, that's when I was like, I really didn't know what to feel, because the police isn't helping me. Child Protective Service was investigating me, and now the school is like on a hold.
So Tiara, let's get back to the friend. When you
Mhm.
find out, what is your initial reaction? What do you do immediately once the principal and you kind of think of who could this be? Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? They got my son. What happened?
Um. Of course, I went on. I cussed the principal out. How dare you? How? I mean, if it was your child, how would you feel? What would you do? Would you do that? Would you do that to your own child? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, if somebody did that to your child, how would you feel? I just
mm.
completely just went off on him, of course. And then I got in my car and I texted the best friend's mom. I said, "You had the nerve to sit here and constantly text me and check on me and comfort me. You know what I'm saying? And all of these things. And you had my son the entire time. I mean, you've been knowing me since they were 5. We threw there, but you
Mm,
knew me personally. You knew me personally. If that was me, I would have said, "Hey, look, he's over here. He's safe. He's good. Get you a good night's rest." You know what I'm saying? And we'll deal with this tomorrow or something. And so immediately, and I told her, I said, "I'm going downtown right now at this moment, and I'm pressing charges on you right now, because at this point, you got me up." I was disgusted with her as a mother. As a mother, I
yes,
was
you were supposed
so
to be.
who
Mm,
who does was that? I was so disgusted. And so she started blowing my phone up. Of course, I wouldn't answer. So she started texting me repeatedly, I don't need this in my life right now. Please don't do this. The only reason why I did it was because, the principal in Child Protective Services told me to not reach out to you, do not let you know that I had your son because there was an investigation going on and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if maybe the school or her or everybody was aware that the case was dropped 48 hours later,
But wait, wait,
but
wait, wait. How do they even get her? He didn't know who's. Wait, because you got to think about this, Tiara.
okay.
He didn't even know who the people was, so he
Right,
claimed. He didn't
right,
even know. Oh, I know it's a little boy named CJ.
right, right,
So how do y'all get, regardless, because he's cool with this little boy, y'all
right,
don't know them outside of school.
right. Yeah.
So where does CPS come in and say that don't tell her that you got the kid and stuff like that? That's not how that goes.
The principal told her that there was a CPS investigation. Do not contact me. Do not have any conversation with me, and do not let me know that she had my child, because pretty much I need you to take him and keep him safe because there is a CPS investigation going on. But from my understanding, you didn't even know who she was. So I don't even know what this conversation.
Exactly, but they supposed to act like, even if once they clear you out, they're supposed to say, we at that time they was investigating, they would look. Mr. Merker said this done tick me off. Mr. Merker, baby. They supposed to say, do you have any family? He's
Mm-hmm.
16. They
Yep.
supposed to get in touch with
Yep.
immediate family,
Yep.
check
Yep.
their background to make sure
Yes.
it's safe, not
Absolutely.
outside of
Yeah.
that. Then
Mm-hmm.
if it's not, they go to the next steps. But
Yeah.
and how long was he with the friend?
Uh, he was with her. I mean, honestly, I can't even tell you how long he was there because I had really no contact with
Right.
my son.
So why
And
didn't they contact her once they gave you that letter? She was supposed to got one as well. You get what I'm saying? Whether he
right,
wanted to go home or
right,
not. You get
right,
what I'm saying? At
yeah,
that point, once CPS cleared you, he was
right,
supposed to go home and she was supposed to abide by
yeah,
that.
right. I
And her
100.
being your friend since they was 5 years old and now these kids are 16, man, say Tiara.
Yeah,
Mm, mm. She said,
yeah.
where she said, why is there no paperwork? Like, where's the paperwork trail?
I have a stack,
Now I'm talking about from the principal, from the
right,
from the friend. Where is
right,
the paperwork?
right. Oh, I have,
Because
I mean, I have a whole bunch of text messages, I mean, that's all I have. And even when I went downtown to the magistrate to even file charges of, aiding and abetting, harboring a minor, I mean, anything that I can think of, against her, I even took the CPS letter down there. The magistrate still denied me and was like, no, I'm not getting involved. Like, we're not pressing charges. If there was a CPS case, that was, you know, that was called out. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do. She protected your child, and I was
okay,
just
but we're not hating everybody coming in, but we're not talking about at that moment if CP, because you don't even know if that's true.
right,
The only thing you know to
right,
be true is that you got a letter from the CPS saying that your
right,
household is okay. So
right,
now we're trying to figure out, once I find out this woman has my child, it is aiding and abetting.
right, right,
That's so it was after you got cleared that you went to the
right.
magistrate,
Yes,
correct? So I'm
yes,
not understanding this. This is crazy, Tiara.
yeah,
I'm trying to
I,
tell you something. This is
yeah,
just go ahead, Tiara. I'm
yeah,
sorry. This mm,
yeah. I mean, so um shortly, I mean, every day it was just, I was just looking for my son. Like, I just couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I've never been away from my kids. Like, I've never been away from my kids. And so me eating, sleeping, working, I feel like I couldn't even be a wife. I feel like I couldn't even be a good mother to my other kids because I was so sick to my stomach. I did not know where my son was. And so I started going up to the school just randomly to see if I can just, catch him or, have him come down to the office to just, have a conversation with me. And every time I kept going up there, they kept saying, he's not here. He's not here. He's not here. And I just kept saying, is he just not going to school anymore? Or why so randomly when I just come up here, he's never here? And then, after some time had passed and I had eventually had a conversation with my son, and I said, why did they keep telling me that you weren't there? And he said, the principal told the lady at the front desk that if you come looking for me to tell you that I wasn't here.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Who does that to some, like?
So we have a mother whose son runs away. Hey P, hey Firecracker. China said they got me effed up for you. Because
Thank
this
you.
is crazy. They said no parent should have to go through this, not even some bad ones. At least know they are safe. She wasn't even given that privilege. Exactly. So we at the school now. The magistrate done told you no.
Right.
Uh, the friend done kept your child away
Right.
from you. We still don't even know if that's the truth and
Right.
stuff. So you go to the school. Okay, after you talk to the principal, because now I'm like, you got to show me attendance record because
Right.
if your child, this is when you should have knew something, Tiara, because you supposed to get a truancy letter. She said that
Right.
school and other mothers should be charged ASAP. Yes, when
Mm-hmm.
they miss school, you get some kind of truancy letter. That's
Mm-hmm.
why Tiara kept going back. Did anything like that come in the mail that he's missing
Mm-mm.
school, that
Mm-mm.
is truancy and
Nope.
stuff? So,
No.
how, after you talk to this principal, did you get in touch with your son? How did that happen?
So
Hey, Firecracker.
um, eventually, I didn't hear from my son, and so now it's going on a couple of months because again, the only way I can get in touch, the only way that I can find my son is if I intersect him at school. But
Yeah.
they already got this clause with tell the mother he's not here. So I'm back and forth to the police department. I'm back and forth. I'm back and forth. And so at this point now I'm looking for a lawyer because I'm starting to feel like the school has something to do with, assisting him. And I kept crying to my husband every day. And I kept saying, babe, somebody is assisting him. Somebody is helping him stay gone away from home this long because he would not be able to survive away from home or away from me for this long. He don't have a car, he don't have a job, he don't have any money. Somebody is assisting him. But I did not know who it was that was assisting him. And believe me, I got the best friend's mother's address. And it took I was over here setting up things on my husband, trying to give him an itinerary of how to take care of the other two because I was ready just to go ahead and go to, what I'm saying, go sit down in the county because I was on my way over here, but I have other children that need me. So I was just so torn. I've never been that broken. I've never been that level of broken in my life.
Mm.
And so one day I woke up and I was just bawling, crying. I was so depressed. And at this time, I had lost my job, because I was just I was just all over the place. I had lost my job. I quit my job actually because I couldn't perform. I couldn't. I didn't know. I didn't know where my son was, and so I woke up one day and I have two older brothers and I just called them and I just cussed them out. And I said, as my brothers, and I'm your only sister, you know what type of mother I am. How do you all go to sleep and wake up every day knowing that I'm over here about to literally almost take myself out of here and
Mm.
y'all are okay and y'all know I'm suffering. Y'all know I am suffering. Why have y'all not tried to do anything to find y'all nephew? I need some help. I need y'all help. I'm back and forth to the police department. They're not doing anything. They are pretty much telling me We don't care. You don't we don't care. The school is not helping me. The board of education is not helping me. The police is not helping me. CPS is not helping me. I just couldn't believe that everyone turned their back. Like nobody would do anything. And so one of my brothers, he finally he got a hold of my son's number, and he reached out to him and he said, hey, he said, I got some things I need to bring you. And so my son kind of, fell for it. And he was like, well, just let me know where you at, and I'm gonna come meet you. And so my brother went to meet him, and after that, he called me when he was on his way to meet him. And I said, call me as soon as you're done. Let me know where he at. Let me know that he's safe. You know what I'm saying? Like get all the information you can. He got it when he got back in the car. He called me. He said, Tierra, and the way he said Tierra, I was like, what? Like, what is it? He
Yeah.
said he lives with a teacher from his school. He lives with
Mm.
a 37-year-old white man. This man don't have no children and no wife.
Hold
And
on.
your been living with this teacher for 3 months.
Hold on. Oh, wait. Mm. Hold on, Tierra, because it's sad. Y'all, this is, and I respect you so much for calling your brothers. You did nothing wrong. And it was just off your emotions. Cause Tierra
Yeah,
told me, she said, Miss Parker, I've never been without my children. She
never.
said I couldn't work. I couldn't. She said I wanted to find my baby. And we as parents know we can't live without our children. It's so many people that's lost their children that are still grieving their children.
Yeah,
There's so many people looking for their children after
yeah,
25 and 35 years.
yeah,
Um, it's just, so your brother gets in touch with your son. Hey Bella, y'all. Hey, shout out to everybody coming in. Hey y'all. This is hard to. It's hard because the system has let you down. It's great, make me cry because dang, the people that work hard and really love their kids always gets the ass end of the stick with these situations,
yeah,
and to cause all of this, have friction in your home, not properly taking care of your other kids because you're depressed, not eating,
yeah,
and stuff like that, and to have a school system and a best friend harbor your son, tell the school after having a CPS paper saying they cleared you.
yeah,
It's scary work because I told y'all, hey, Juice, but I told y'all a couple weeks ago, is the schools even safe anymore? Are schools safe for our children? So your brother goes and he finally gets a hold of your son.
yes,
He calls you and you feeling floored because he done said your name in a way that you think you probably gonna get some bad news. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yes.
When he told you he's living with a 32-year-old white man at the
A
age
30,
of
yeah, 37, a 37-year-old white man,
Terry.
teacher
Mm,
from I I think I had to pinch myself because I never even got a ride home from one of my teachers as a child.
absolutely
I've
not.
never been to one of my teachers' houses ever
Absolutely
in
not.
my life. I could not believe that
Child.
this teacher
Mm,
allowed my child to live in his home for almost 4 months.
mm.
Never called me. I never, to this very moment that I'm speaking to you, I have never laid eyes on this man a day in my life. I have never heard of anything like this. I don't know in what state or country this is legal.
Not at all. Go ahead, Tiara, because that ain't even the icing on the cake. You find out he's a girl, because this is making me upset. It's sickening. It's so many monsters out here in this world. There's so much trafficking going on, y'all. They don't nobody look for our black children, and regardless of what,
Yeah.
I know all kind of stuff was going through your head. What was really going through your head, Tiara? Give us a rundown. Be honest about what you was really thinking when you found out that he was living with this 37-year-old white man.
Rage. rage, anger, vengeance. I was so upset that first of all, I was shocked that this was
Yeah.
even that this I was shocked that this was even happening, and the principal knew about it. The principal knew. The principal is the one that introduced. He introduced my. He was never even my son's teacher. Like
Mm.
my son didn't even take one of his
Yeah.
classes. And so I asked my son months later, I said, "How did you end up with this teacher?" And he told me, he said, the principal introduced me to the teacher because the teacher owns a nonprofit organization for runaway youth boys and homeless youth boys. And he asked him, do he mind intervening and giving me a safe place to stay? And his main objective was he let my son live with him because he was protecting him from me and my husband.
So wait a minute, because this is custodial interference at. Give me a second, Tierra. She said, Leisha said was because I done got mad. I'm shaking. I'm rocking back and forth. I get to rock back and forth. It's my nerves. She said was a letter written to the school to document her objection and that she does not consent him to live with the teacher. Did you ever get to write a letter saying, hey, I don't agree with this? You know what I'm saying? Once you found out, what was your next step? Okay, I found out my son's living
Mm-hmm.
with this teacher. What was your
Mm-hmm.
next step?
So the next step was the next day I went to the police station and I had the police again escort me to that school because all of this is so that I don't go to prison when I get to this school because that was my objective. I was ready to I was willing to risk it and lose it all. My
Yeah,
freedom, everything. Because
yeah.
yeah. So I went to the police station and they escorted me to the school. First of all, when I went to the police station and I told the receptionist what the she just kind of looked at me like, "You said what?" She said, "You said your son is living with a teacher from his school." She was so taken aback, like, "You said your son," like she was because it was so unhurt,
Yeah, yeah.
like where they do that at, you know? And so she reached out to her sergeant, and then she had him come out and speak with me. And when I told him, he was like, he said, "Give me a second." He went outside and called his lieutenant, somebody, and they told him, they said, they told me to escort you to that school right now and get your son. And he said, "I'm not talking to you as officer such and such." He said, "I'm talking to you as Nick." He said, "Because if that was me," he said, "I would have forgot everything that I lost in the what I lost in
Mhm.
training." You know what I'm saying? He said, "If that was my child." So we get to the school. He said, "Wait here in your car." He got out first and he made contact with the teacher first. And he said, "You have 24 hours to drop all that boy stuff off at this school. And if we catch him back at your house ever again, we will press." He said, "I will bring charges on you myself." He said, "You have no authority. You have no guardianship. You have no right to have that minor child in your home without his parents' knowledge or consent." And so, of course, the teacher was like, "Okay, fine." Because if you had any paperwork, documentation that you was trying to keep him safe so that you claim, you would have used that, but you didn't. That's why you were so easy to say, "Okay, fine." You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
I wasn't there when he approached the teacher. So then he brought me in the office and he brought my son there. That was the first time I seen my son
Mm.
in months. And mm,
Take your time. Take your time, Tiara. It's okay.
mm,
It's okay, T. It's okay.
he just didn't look like my son. He didn't look like He didn't look like my son, the son that I raised.
Hold on, Tiara. Hold on, Tiara. My ass is looking. If you take a minute, Tiara, let's take a minute. Let's
Okay,
take
I'm
a
just looking for
take a
tissue.
breather. Um, She needs some help, y'all. Shit. Mr. Merkel, I'm glad you are in here. Um, she really crying out for help, and that's why it's called "When a Mother Cries, Do We Listen?" And you need to get you some water, tea. It's okay if you need some water. You got some
I got some
water.
iced coffee.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Um, Alicia said I got a letter to send to North Carolina Charter School Division right now. Um, so take your time.
okay. After that, I just
What
kind
did
of,
what did he look like, Tiara, when you seen him? You said it just wasn't your back. You know what I'm saying?
he just looked rough. He just looked like he just looked rough. He just looked like he's been through some things. He just he just didn't look like when he was home, you know. Um, and he had like anger, like he was upset to see me. Like he was very, very angry, and he wouldn't look at me and he wouldn't talk to me. And so um, the police pretty much did all of the talking. And he looked at my son and he said, "Look, you're now 17. He said, you're still a minor." He said, most teenagers don't want to follow their parents' rules or anything like that. He said, but, unfortunately, he said, you have to go home with your mother. He was like, she has legal guardianship over you. No one here at this school does. You have to go home. And that's the bottom line. And he said, I'm not going anywhere with her. And he was like, okay, whatever. He was like, but you're leaving out of here today with your mother, whether you like it or not. And he was just like, I'm not going nowhere with her. He was like, I don't care what you, he was like, I don't care what you say, sir. He said, I'm not going anywhere with her. So at this time, I'm kind of sitting back and I'm looking at him and I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
really? I mean, I'm shocked that this
Yeah.
is his response. And so the police looked at me and he said, do you want him to finish the rest of the day or do you want him to, get his things and come home now? And so I said, no, I want him to get his things. And I said, I want him to come home right now. And so he looked at him. He said, you need to go get your stuff. You're going home with your mother. And he jumped up out of that chair and he just started yelling and so I don't know why, but as a mother, it's like I walked towards him and I just put my hand on his chest and I said, and I looked at him and I said, it's me, son. It's me. Like, why are you doing this? It's mommy. I thought that I could penetrate his soul. I said, it's mommy. Why are you doing this? And he looked at that he did like this to my hand and he spit in my face.
Mm.
He spit in my face and he said, if y'all make me go home with her, I'm gonna kill myself. I swear to God, he said, I'm gonna kill myself. He said, if y'all make me go home with her, he said, I'm gonna commit suicide as soon as I get there. And so I'm just like, I'm just so never in a million years. My son don't even talk back to me, So I was just like, what happened to? And immediately they just started calling, fire trucks and paramedics and all of this stuff. And they was like, Miss Grimby, you have to go, just go sit in your car, go. And I'm just screaming. I'm like, what have y'all done to my son? You know what I'm saying? Like, what have y'all done to my child? What have y'all put in my child's mind that he would prefer to commit suicide before coming home with me as his mother, the person who gave him life, the person who raised him? What could they have done for you in just a few months that would make you treat me like this? And I just couldn't believe it. And I got in my car and I called my husband and I was just screaming. And my husband was just begging me, like, babe, please calm down. He said, I'm getting off of work. He said, please just calm down. And I said, babe, I'm about to run my car into this building. I said, because I can't take it. My son is gone. Like, whatever they did to my child, I don't know what they did to my son, but they did something happened to him, you know, because that just wasn't my son. And um
Go on, take your water break real quick, Tiara. Take your water break, baby. Drink, take your sip of water.
okay.
We are all very emotional for you. And she wants to get it out, Firecracker. She wants her story out there. We didn't get this far with it, and to see her face, and this is a 37-year-old man, and you've been lied to by a school. You know what I'm saying? The brainwash of it all, Tiara, is mind blowing. And I wanted Tiara to tell her story because unfortunately these things are happening at these schools. I've been covering this for like a month now, seeing this stuff at schools with teachers, inappropriate touching and everything. So they take them out. So what happens to them next, Tiara? Once all the ambulances, fire trucks, what happens next?
they bring him out, and then, of course, they take him to the hospital. They take him to the psychiatric unit. And I just went down the street to the gas station because my husband didn't want me to drive too far because I was just a wreck, of course. And so um, the police officer called me immediately, and he said, I am so sorry. He said, that just went left so fast. He said, you need to have this investigated. He said, because he said something is not right. He said something is not right with this whole situation. And so then a little while later, the hospital called me, and they was like, well, we need you to come here because, we can't evaluate him. He's a minor, you know. And I'm looking like, no, you need to call that school because obviously those are his parents now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
So
you
they
take
wanted
their
you
insurance
to
card.
come and use your insurance
Hmm.
to cover an
Hmm.
incident that
Hmm.
happened in a school that's been harboring your
Hmm.
son
Hmm.
for 4 months. Are they
Hmm.
serious?
Hmm. Hmm. They
And what
needed
do
my consent. They needed my
oh, they
consent.
needed your consent now.
Now. They
Oh,
do.
they need your consent. So
Right,
if they need your consent, that means that you are
right,
the guardian of this
right.
child. So why did they not need your consent to hide him at the best friends, to then go to a teacher that's not even his teacher, that's
Yeah,
running a nonprofit organization? Miss America is so much more to this story. Who's running a nonprofit organization that the child doesn't even know? Got the child coming up in here looking different to his mother and trying to commit suicide. Go ahead, Tiara, baby. Hey, ooh,
and so I go up there. I have a conversation, and now he's sitting there looking stupid, laying in the bed. His leg is chained up to a wall, and all of this stuff. And I couldn't even, I sat outside the door in a chair, and I just cried. And some of the nurses and staff that kind of knew what was going on, they just kept coming up to me and like holding my hand and just like apologizing to me and like, just like showing me love. Like, I had never, like, I'm so sorry. And so after they got everything that they needed from me, I said, I'm going home. I said, I'm not sitting here with him. He made this decision. He want to look stupid and foolish. I said, I'm going home. I said, I need to lay my head. I just need to lay my head down. My head is hurting. And so maybe a few hours later, the pediatric doctor, the pediatric therapist, and the psychiatrist, all of them just started calling me. And it was one particular psychiatrist, and he said, maybe you can help me fill in the gaps. You know, he said, because I'm very lost at this moment. He said, when I evaluated your son, he said, I asked him, you know, are you in school? Yes. What kind of grades you get? I'm an honor student. Have you ever suffered from depression? No. Have you ever been diagnosed with anxiety or ADHD, or have you ever been suicidal? And all the answers were no, no, no. Where do you live? Who do you live with? You know, do you play any sports? You know, this. And so he said every answer was no. And he said, how did we get here from that lifestyle to where we are now? He was like, usually things kind of build up. You know, he was like, when we get here, and he was like, how did we get here?
Tiara, let
And
me
I
ask
said, I can't answer that question.
did you ever start seeing a change in your child? Ever? Did you start seeing some kind of changes before he ran away? Did you ever start seeing some kind of changes that you was just like, oh, okay, maybe this is because of this. Maybe it's because of that. Hey, Nika, thank you. And salute to everybody coming in. Did you ever think, and Miss America did say, this ain't the only child this happened to. And I told you that when I talked to you, I said, I really want this investigated more because I know for a fact this isn't the only child that it's not there's no way possible that they was that comfortable to
Right.
take your son in. And it say the Bushes said it's crazy because she said in Cali as a parent, my minor daughter had to give her permission for her to be in the room when she talked to her OBGYN. And that is crazy because it's like
Yep.
y'all
That's the
taking
law
our
here in North
parenting,
Carolina too.
y'all
Yeah.
taking our parenting rights
Right.
from us, and it's
Yeah.
not cool. I
Right.
get it that the kids have rights, but my kids, and we was taught up. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, protect your peace. We didn't have no rights until we
Right.
was 18 to get
Right.
out on our own. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? My daddy
Yeah.
used to tell us all the time, you ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to
Mm-hmm.
throw it out. So
Mm-hmm.
if you got that, you can go on and exit stage left.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you don't got that, I need you to shut up and
Yeah.
either go by these rules or go out there in them streets in the world
Yeah.
and make your own. But in here, it's our rules.
Right.
So the fact that,
It
oh,
was in North Carolina. Once your child turns 13, you cannot be in the room with them at a doctor's appointment, and your child has to give you permission and authority to have access to their medical records. Once they turn 13, their information is sealed to the parent unless they give you access.
but TR, make it make sense at this point with them. They are making kids grow up
Yeah,
faster, and
yeah,
it's crazy because
right.
I was
Yeah.
just reading up on this that Donald Trump and them are setting these rules in each state
Mm-hmm.
for the reason of letting pedophiles off the hook, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
This is why if you giving my 13-year-old consent
Yep.
to go to the doctor, why do I got medical?
Yep.
Why do I gotta take
Yep.
my medical card?
Don't
Why do I
use my insurance. Don't
I
do.
gotta
Make sure you bill them
pay?
too.
Because the
You bill
state
them.
said that she got the right. So the state should pay for
Yep.
anything she's
Yep.
got coming when it comes to medical
Yep.
or anything
Mm-hmm.
else. It's
Mm-hmm.
out of my reach. I'm not
Right.
paying for any visit that y'all
Yes.
said my daughter can tell me I
Yes.
can't come in here and
Yeah.
her case is closed. I don't know if my baby's
Mm-hmm.
pregnant. I don't know if
Right.
my baby got an
No,
STD.
you
I
will
don't know
not
if
know.
my baby said my
You will
baby's
not
got
know.
leukemia, cancer,
Yep.
lupus, or anything.
Yep.
Thank you, EC. I'm just saying, what are we
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Yes.
What are we doing?
Yes. Yes.
Where the
That.
kids get to make their own rules
Yep.
now
Yep. Yep. And that's
at
the
this
reason why the
age.
police didn't do anything when he ran away. They specifically said if he was like maybe 13, maybe 14, we would get involved. And they was like, but he's 16. And I said, but he's still a minor. Because if he get into any trouble, y'all gonna come knocking at my door. If he's not going to school, I'm going to, I'm getting documentation for you are only a parent when it is convenient for them. But they let these kids do whatever they want. And as a parent, it's almost like you have no rights. No rights.
Latasha Boss Lady said when her daughter was 10, they tried to deny her from coming in the room. She said, I busted in that room. She said, I busted that door down and said, y'all got me effed up. You hear
Mhm.
me? I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. That's one time I'm going to jail. It's gonna be a problem. She said, I'm confused why. She said, why the daddy not stepping up? She said, cause she left the father to take her to kids while she searched for her son. That's what she was saying. She was, this is what they like. This is how you do this. You know what I'm saying? She quit her job because she couldn't function properly at the job to strictly look for her child. But the father does come in and help her as well on his days off to sit with her. Go ahead. Let's get to this. It's getting deeper, Auntie Fee. So the doctor asks you, how do we get here? And you saying, I don't know. What's
I,
next, Tiara?
I just told him, and I mean, I told him the things that he did and, what led up to it. And he said, unfortunately, he said, I'm going to have to discharge him because he's just taking up a bed right now.
Mm,
He said, I said, y'all said a mandatory 72 hours. I need time to think and breathe. You better
yes.
keep him, okay? I don't know what to do with him in 24 hours. I don't. I said, I don't. And they said, well, we have to release him to you. I don't know where he's going. I don't, because I don't feel comfortable bringing him to my home. This boy just spit in my face. This boy just told me he was, I need a few more days. And they said, we cannot keep him because he does not meet the criteria of someone who is suicidal. Your son wants to do what he wants to do. Your son has been either brainwashed by someone. Something is wrong with your son, but it's not suicide. He's and so I went and I picked him up the next day, and he called me all throughout the night. My son did. And so he said, Mom, he said, can you come here? Can you come up here? And so at first I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. You ain't want to talk to me earlier. You know what I'm saying? You were so disrespectful. But my heart, it was, and my husband was like, babe, you know what I'm saying? He need to stand on that. All that he did earlier, you know what I'm saying? He needs to stand on that. That performance that he put on. But as a mother, it was like my heart, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't. So I got dressed and I went up there to go see him. And in my mind, it was because I wanted answers. That was the first time that I was able to sit with my son and have a conversation with him without anybody else around. I needed to talk to him because the whole time he was gone, in my heart, I kept telling people, I know my son is hurting just as much as I'm hurting. There's no way that he cannot be hurting because we're too close. You know what I'm saying? I know he's being stupid right now, but I know he's hurting because he know he's hurting me. Nobody else had to understand, but that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? I understood. And so when I went to sit next to him and I just said, how did we get here? And I could tell he had been crying, and he just busted out and started crying. He was just saying, he kept saying, Mom, I'm sorry.
Mm.
He just kept saying, Mom, I'm so sorry. And I said, why did you do this? And he said, I did lie on you and Dad. He said, but I didn't know that they were going to do all of that, like call Child Protective Services, because we never been there before. So he did not know that the things that he said, like my parents did this to me or I'm going to kill myself. I don't think that he understood, you know what I'm saying, the consequences of the things that he was saying, because again, he's never experienced anything like that. But he said he felt like once they called Child Protective Services, he said everything just snowballed so fast and it was just out of control so fast. And he was like, I knew I just couldn't come back. I couldn't face you guys no more. Like I had to keep moving. I just, it
Mm.
was just too out of control. But he just kept saying, Mom, I'm sorry,
And
and
we
I'm
gotta understand too, y'all. This is still a child.
right.
This is not an adult making good decisions. This is in Tiara. Did they ever do a toxicology report? at the hospital?
I asked them to.
Did everything come clean?
They found marijuana.
Okay, they found marijuana. So at his age, and he's living with a teacher now. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? When you smoke, you smoke. You get what I'm
Well,
saying?
funny
Um,
enough,
thank you, Sonia.
he was the type of kid that was very disgusted by smoking. Very disgusted. He was
Mm,
always very against it. It was disgusting to him. And so when I found out that he had been smoking, I was so confused. I was so disappointed. And I'm like, you out of all people, he first started smoking when he went to that best friend's mother's house.
mm,
Thank you, principal, so much. Thank you. You
mm.
know,
So the principal told you that?
no, they found it in his toxicology report, but the
Yeah,
principal was the one that allowed him to get in the car and ride off into the
yeah,
sunset with his best
yeah,
friend and mom. So
yeah, yeah,
great job, sir.
yeah.
Great job, sir. You know, I mean, let me be clear.
Mm,
At no point do I not hold my son accountable for his ridiculous, disgusting, disrespectful, despicable actions. I mean, at no point. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to stand on every decision that he made because although he's still a child, he knew better. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
But the difference is that he's my son for the rest of his life and for
Amen.
the rest of my life. That will always be my child. So whether it take 1 day, 1 year, 10 years, 50 years for me and my son to mend our relationship, they had no business interfering, enter in any type of way with the relationship between me and my child. I wasn't a mother that was known for drugs. I wasn't a mother that was known for, you know what I'm saying, my children being homeless, any type of abuse or anything like that. They had no right to interfere in me and my son's in me and my son's situation and in our relationship. I tell my husband all the time, if there was an adult, just one adult in this situation out of all of these people, my son would have been back home because a real adult would have said, you cannot stay here. You can stay the night, but tomorrow we're calling your parents. You cannot stay. You got to go to your grandmother, your grandfather, your brother, your cousin, your aunt. You cannot stay here. That's what I would have done. I would have let that child's mother know, hey, they're here for tonight. They're safe. You and I will have a conversation tomorrow, and
Mhm.
whatever comes about, I'll let you handle it as the parent, but you can go ahead and get you a good night's rest. And I just wanted to let you know that your child is here.
Right.
Instead, I am so confused how he convinced all of these all of these adults, all every adult was stupid. I mean, I'm pretty sure he painted a crazy picture. I can get that, but I also know how children lie. Not to
Yes.
mention, y'all have known me for years,
Yeah.
especially the best friend's mom. The school had a rapport with me for years.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I never had no type of history, no nothing. You think he was an honor student and he was being neglected and abused and mistreated? You think that he got this way? You know what I'm saying? With all of that turmoil in his life,
mm,
nobody had enough sense. Not one person had enough sense to just be the adult in the room. You know what I'm saying? I can identify that my son did some ridiculous, stupid, despicable stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna have to he's gonna be held accountable for his actions. But I'm also smart enough to know that I'm the adult in the room and he
mm.
is still the child in the
Yes.
room. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I Nobody, not one person took that into consideration. Not one. That's what makes me so disgusted with all of them. So the next day, I went and picked him up and I took him. I agreed for him to live with my mother. My mother lives all the way on the other side of town. That was the police said that he can only live where I agree. It couldn't be no teacher, it couldn't be no friend, it couldn't be just no
Mhm.
anybody. I had to agree, or it was all or nothing. It had to be. what I agreed to. And so I agreed for him to live with my mother. I immediately took him out of that school. I put him into public school. And he was so upset that I made him move in with my mom and that I made him go to this other school. And he dropped out of school
Mm,
on his way to college for electrical engineering. He dropped out.
mm,
And so it was so tense that even when I would go to my mom's house, I wouldn't even go inside because the energy between me and him was so tense. And then, my husband got involved, and, him and my husband was having, a lot of back and forth. And my husband was like, if you got one more time to disrespect my wife, you know what I'm saying? Bruh, it's gonna be me and you. I mean, my husband was tired of watching me cry. My husband was tired of taking off of work, you know what I'm saying, to stay home with me because I was so depressed, because I was just so depressed, you know what I'm saying? And he started being real disrespectful to my mom. You
mm.
know, he was so it was almost like he hated the entire family. My brothers, my mom, of course, me and my husband, and he kept saying like, you want me to go to school all the way over here, either you gonna pay for me to get back and forth to school or I'm not going. I'm like, why would I pay? You know what I'm saying? Because you took me from over there where I was comfortable at and where I was doing this. And I said, baby, you ain't got to go to school. I don't care what you do. I did my part as a mother. I took you out of that school. I enrolled you in school over here, whether you go or not. That's up to you now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm tired. I did nothing to you. You disrespected me in my home. You know what I'm saying? You got caught sneaking out of my house for 7 months. You did
Let,
that.
let me ask you something, Tiara.
Hmm.
Um, I know they did the toxicology report, and in those hospitals, they don't. It was it blood work or was it urine? If you can remember.
I believe it was urine. They just told me what they found.
Uh-huh. I think if we would have got some blood work from them, we would have seen some stuff, some toxins in him that is more than weed. Because I'm really believing it started with the friend, but I'm really believing that the teacher. It's something about this teacher. Because again, like you said, whether it's a nonprofit organization, we still gonna have more to go.
Hmm.
Um, it's just your son just is, and
Yeah.
now I can't go back to this school. I'm quitting. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So anxiously wanting to get back to this school. And is it because of this is where you like, this is where you comfortable, or
Hmm.
is it the comfortable place where the teacher made him comfortable? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff right now. I'm thinking because how we go from son, how we get her, your son's crying. You agree? Okay, it's tense in the home.
Hmm.
I ain't even gonna do this to you. I'm gonna let you go live with your grandmother.
Hmm.
But you can't go to school over there because it's all the way over here.
Hmm.
And now we back to the tension where he's disrespecting you, your husband, your mother, your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Just too anxious to want to get back over here to these people.
Right. Right.
These people
Well,
got some kind of hold on
yeah.
him to
Right.
where he wants to get back. But go ahead, Tiara. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And of course that was constantly my thought. And then come to find out, the teacher kept using this you know this organization as a means of like, but I own this organization for youth boys, and for runaway, and for homeless youth boys. And but is it in your house? Because is the organization, is it in your home, or is it just an organization? Because what does you having a organization, a nonprofit organization, have to do with moving this kid into your home? The organization is not in your home, so that has nothing to do with it. Not to mention, he was charging my son $400 a month to rent the room out to live
Oh,
there.
look at her. Y'all heard what she just said. Stay right there. So he goes and live with your mother. Things
Hmm.
are getting bad. He says, I ain't going back to school. If I can't go over there, I ain't going to school. I just
Right.
quit. What happens next, Tiara?
So After we make him leave the teacher's house, go move in with my mother. He lived with my mother for 2 months. And he texted me one day. He said, I can't live here no more. I cannot deal with my grandmother. You know, she's driving me crazy. I'm going to go stay with a friend. I work on the other side of town. I can't get back and forth to work. I just can't take it anymore. And then come to find out, he moved back in with that teacher for 3 more months.
So he said he's going to live with a friend. I can't take it in grandma's house no more. Um,
I just
I'm,
found this out 2 weeks ago. But
so you guys, just to let y'all know, everything is recent. Everything that Tiara's up here about is recent. So this is why she's here. It's not no a year ago, nothing. This is recent. How you find out he back at the teacher's house?
I sat down with him 2 weeks ago, and I finally got to a point to where I can listen to everything and I can receive it and I can hear it, because I'm a little bit stronger now than I was a year ago when things first happened. And I told him, I said, it's not like you can get in trouble about anything. It's not like I can punish you. I said, I want to know, what happened, So before I get to that, let me just bring it to current. um After he left my mom's house, I didn't know where he was. I could not find him because, remember, he didn't go to that school anymore. I put him in public school. He dropped out. So I couldn't go there and find him anymore. He wasn't at my mom's house anymore, so I couldn't find him. One way I was able to find him was, he didn't have a job, but apparently he ended up getting a job at Bojangles. And that was because a church member seen him working the drive-through. And so she called me one day and she said, he got a job at, such. I said, how did he get a job there? So I called there one day and I said, what is you all's policy on teenagers getting a job? Like, do they need a parent's consent, or they can just, get a job? And they said, well, we just need their ID, their social, and, maybe a birth certificate or something like that, she said. And I said, well, that's funny. I said, because my son works there. Excuse me. And I said, I have his ID, I have his birth certificate, and I have his social security card literally right here in my hand. I said, now I know he don't have access to any of these things because he can't go get these without, with him being under 18, and nobody could just go sign for it because as a parent, you need documentation. I said, so how did you hire him without any of this documentation? And so she started looking things up, and she got back on the phone and she said, oh, okay. She said, well, I have a copy of his ID, no, his social security card, his birth certificate, and his school transcripts, and they were sent to her by his principal.
Mm, mm,
Oh,
mm. Girl, thank you, Lisa.
listen, I can't even say I'm sick of these people because that will be such an understatement. I'm speechless. I really am. I'm so speechless. I mean, it was just like repeatedly, it was like a punch and an uppercut in the elbow. And it was like it was just constantly just, I mean,
Mr. Burkendale said, "Don't you say to school." She said, "I knew it." So she did it like, because I'm like putting it to. Mm.
so after that, okay. So around the summertime, I started I focused on healing. I was very intentional about healing. Like, I just put a lot of energy into healing, and in my mind, knowing that eventually I was ready to start trying to make peace with my son, because I wanted to come out of this dark place. I couldn't continue. I couldn't live there
Yeah.
anymore. I had to be better for myself and my kids and my husband, and just in general. And so I started being very intentional about my healing. And so my husband and the kids, we went on vacation. And when I came back, I texted him and I said, I would like to, meet up with you for lunch, if that's okay with you. And so he texted me back because usually he don't never text me back. And so he said, okay. So we met up a few days later, and I was just extremely nervous because when I got to the restaurant, I didn't know how to receive him. I didn't know if he was still going to be angry, if he was going to be, this or anything. But when I walked towards the table, he stood up, he embraced me, and then he pulled out my chair, and then we sat down. And him and I, we had a really, 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 really long conversation. And I felt really good. I felt hopeful, for me and my son starting to build our relationship back. And we really took very, I wanted to take baby steps.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was just so desperate just to have my son back in any capacity that I just jumped in head first. It was no baby steps for me. That was the first time that I touched my son in almost 9 months.
Mm.
I was
That's
just I was just so desperate. I was just so desperate to have any form of any form of him um back in my life, because it was just so many sleepless nights, so many tears for so long. I just wanted my son back. I did. I just wanted my son back. And I would never be apologetic about me wanting my baby back. And I would never stop wanting my child back ever.
You want to take a water break, Tiara, baby? Take a water break. Take your sip of water.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I'll be back.
go ahead. Um, I want y'all to pray because I can't take somebody away from being a mother to their child. You get what I'm saying? I asked Tiara some questions. I was like, "How did this affect your marriage?" Because a man don't, his father loves him, but our babies, we carry them, so it's different. Um, Man, Mr. Merker, to have the school still interfering with her parental is crazy. It's something about this school, y'all. This is it ain't right. It ain't right. I don't care what nobody say. It's not sitting right with me. And I was like, Mr. Merker, I was like, how many other children are involved in this? You know what I'm saying? How many other children are involved in when she gets her break and calms down? Because y'all saying take a break, but Tiara said, I don't care. I'm putting my story out there today. She said, I don't care. She told me the other day, I'm putting it out there. We stayed on the phone for like 2 hours. She said, I'm putting it out there. And I want her to. Because I want to show y'all that this stuff is really happening. This is really happening. Alicia, what I'll get her to this Mint Hill. Um yes, Sherry Clark, the devil's busy. No, Time Warp is definitely not the first time this school has done this, and that's why I said when a mother cries, do we listen? You know what I'm saying? We don't. No, we don't listen. That's why I created the thumbnail to to say what it said. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Merkel said, "Don't worry, her story is about to be as big as she wanted to be." F that
Thank,
school.
thank
And she was being a mother. You know what I'm saying? As mad as she is at your babies and stuff like that. Y'all know when we whoop our kids, sometimes it hurts us. It
you.
hurts our feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
And we break down and get the crying like,
Yep.
why'd you make me do it? Like,
Yep.
just don't do that. Like, we don't.
Yep.
It's all kind of emotions when you have to get on your kids. And she said, they don't tick me off. Okay, Mr. Merkel? So I'm glad Mr. Merkel's heard very, very prominent out there in society that can help you. So I'm
Thank
glad that she's one that's in here. But go ahead, Tara. If you ready, I'm ready.
Yes. And so, um, we started to, you know, build our relationship back up um, a little bit here. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mm, okay. I'm sorry. I was just reading too. I'm sorry for all the mothers who are going through something similar. Just know that I pray for you, and my heart goes out to you because this is so hard, especially as a mother. And if you're a mother that loves your children, you will go to the end of the world for your children.
And I
Um,
posted those to let you know that it's other people. It's always somebody when we telling a story, whether it's your own story, that can recognize and empathize with what you going through. So y'all pray for them mothers as well. If it's any mothers, she said, "Is that public school in Mint Hill?" Yes, Purple. It's in
yes,
Mint Hill. What's the name of the school, Tiara?
the school is Queens Grant High School, and the principal is Dr. Swartzlanger, and the teacher is Jonathan Janus.
I think Alicia dropped it in her earlier. So if y'all missed it, Alicia did drop it, the information in her earlier. Y'all might just didn't grab it. I don't know where Alicia is, but Alicia, if you listening, sis, if you could drop that information one more time. And Miss America, I got your information to send it to you as well. I'm ready when you are.
And I also have, I went and got it, and I want y'all to see
Okay.
this. You see where is it at? Right here, right here.
Mm-hmm. I see that chat.
DS, yeah, no need for intervention. DSS needed no reason to intervene.
That's her chat. That's her
And this
CPS.
is dated, and this is dated November the 5th, 2024. Everything happened October 28th, and
Mm.
there was no reason to intervene. Once that letter said that they needed, there was no abuse, no neglect, there was nothing, but my home was not deemed a threat for my son. All of you should have encouraged my son to go home. Y'all should have dried up any help, anything. Y'all should have directed my son to come back home, but instead they just took my child. I mean, they took my child, and I mean, and kept him from from me as his mother.
Miss America said we don't need your paperwork. They better have theirs.
Yeah, thank you, Miss America.
So
Um,
you hug your baby. You ain't seen him in 9 months because we
yes,
moving into this year. She hadn't seen her baby in 9 months. And where do y'all go from there, Tiara?
I mean, we started talking a little bit. We started building our relationship back, and like I said, I just wanted my baby back so desperately. If he wanted to kind of move in baby steps, I was more like, like I just needed my son back. I wanted my son back,
Yeah.
and I just um, it was it was it was patchy. He wasn't no longer disrespectful. He was my son. He was more so, he was loving again, he was affectionate again, but he still did not want to come home you know and at first I couldn't get over the fact that, why, like, you cannot be living that well out there in them streets. It's cold outside. I'm telling you, it's cold out there. And I realized that, I knew that he felt like he was trying to prove a point. And mom, and he kept saying that, mom, I'm telling you, mom, I got this. I know you're worried about me, but I got this. I got this. And I just kept looking at him like, you ain't got nothing at all. You really don't. You ain't got nothing. But you go ahead out there and you prove your point. And again, I was still worried. I was still, a mom. But I started to heal a little bit more because I was able to conversate with him. And, I told him to make sure that he texted me and at least let me know that he was safe and let me know where he was at. So I was getting to a place of some peace, not the peace that I wanted, but it was some peace for me. Um,
Real quick, Tiara, what's the name of that organization? Because we still got some more stuff to get to, Miss America. If you don't mind telling them. Because a lot of people, did you ever at a point, Tiara, check to see if the organization was even real?
I will say this. I pulled it up. I found a picture of the teacher, you know, and something it won't allow me to dig deep. Once I went live and the video went viral, everybody kind of went to work on my behalf because I feel like if I dig deep and I find all the information I want, I am angry. I
Yeah.
am very angry, and I'm not in a place right now to know his address or know the address of his
Yes.
organization.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? I'm not at that place right now because I will do something. You
Yeah.
know, it bothers me when people say, "Oh, that couldn't be me. That couldn't be me." If I was you, I would. You don't know what you would do until you're in that situation. I did
Mhm.
everything that I could possibly do that was legal because
Yeah.
I still had other children that are
Yeah.
dependent on me. I am their mother. They have their father, and my husband is a great father, but I am there. I can't leave my other two babies out here. You know what I'm saying? Without a mother because I didn't went up in here and tore up the place or shot the place or you know what I'm saying, did something because
Yeah, it's
as a
understandable.
mother, that's how I feel inside. You know, God for my other children is what keeps me just a little bit sane and keeps me out of prison. You know, I want to do so much, believe me, you know. So I'm just trying to stay on the right side of the law the best way I can. But I do
Yeah.
have that information, and I will send it to you, Miss Parker. Oh, let me.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this. Yep. Because this is the principal, and this is the teacher, and this is this organization, and so I will send this to you, and so that you can drop this information. It has his organization. It has all of that, and so
So he ain't ready to come home.
he wasn't ready to come home, and so as school started. And I kept saying, just move back home for your senior year. Please just let mommy help you. Let me help you get your life back together. Every time I seen him, it was like he was so unkept. And it was like, do you live under a bridge or something? Like, are you eating? Are you home? He looked like he was living under a bridge. And I kept saying, what is going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why come home. You don't look well at all. And he just kept saying, I'm okay, mom. I'm okay, mom. You know, which continuously kept breaking my heart because I'm like, why don't he want to come home? And so he ended up moving in to an apartment with some friends of his. And the day before I put out the video, the day before I put out the video, he had texted me and he said, Mom, I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. So we started setting up a time and a date where he can, where we can meet up. And he kind of kept canceling because things kept coming up. And so um, the next day, I went to the police station and the detective wanted to talk to me. The detective that was working on the case wanted to talk to me. And he sat me down in the lobby and he said, unfortunately, my sergeant said that we're going to have to, drop the case. He said, I did go up to the school. He said, I did talk to the principal earlier this week. And he said, the principal just lied about everything. He said, he kind of like put everything on the teacher, and he said, the principal told him that he never even knew that my son was living there. He only found out my son was living there once he seen my son getting into the teacher's car. And then he approached the teacher and said, hey, why is he getting into your car? And the teacher said, he's been staying with me for a while. I just been trying to protect him from his parents. And the principal said, well, he cannot live with you. You have to find somewhere else for him to live. He can't live with you, which turned into 4 months. And then I made him go live with my mom for 2 months, only for him to go back for another 3 months. I don't know what type of conversation him and the principal had. Okay. Obviously, the teacher didn't listen because that turned into months. And then the police told me that the principal said that he wasn't going to fire the teacher, that it was not
Mm.
a fireable offense.
Oh wow.
And they told me that they were going to drop the case. His sergeant told him that they were going to drop my case. They can no longer spend any time or resources into my case because they are a government agency and they have to spend their government funding on. And I thought that he was trying to be funny. And he said, we have to spend our government funding on, you know, fighting crimes. And you know what I'm saying, he said we're the police. You know, he said we solve crimes, we go after criminals. This
Oh wow.
He ain't a criminal. This is not a criminal offense. And so I just broke down and I said, what if it was your child? How would you feel? How would you feel if this was your child or your child or your child, ma'am, or your child, sir? What if you haven't seen your child in a year? You know what I'm saying? What if your child haven't been home in a year? What would you do? I have done everything humanly possible that is within my power. Nobody will listen to me. I have contacted over 50 to 60 lawyers. Nobody will take my case. I get every time, unfortunately, you know, that's just a law that we don't practice. Unfortunately, you know, that wouldn't be something that we will be able to handle. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? I've tried this. I've tried that. I've written letters to the board. I have reached out to the president of the school, of their of their board because they're a nonprofit, the vice president. I even reached out to the treasurer. No response, nothing. I
Mm.
just don't understand what teacher can take a child into their home to live with them, and that is legal. He don't lose his job. He don't even get a slap on the wrist. He don't get suspended. The principal don't get nothing. I mean, child protective services. I even called them. I called them 4 times. I called them last week in front of my husband again, and I put them on speaker. And I just wanted my husband to hear. And I told them, this is what happened. This is what's going on. This is the way my son is acting. It seems as though this teacher has done something either mentally, verbally, emotionally to make my son act like that. And
Absolutely.
she said, I'm sorry that happened to you. She said, but unfortunately, she said, that's just something like we're not going to be able to get involved. I said, but when they called y'all on me, y'all were at my
Yeah.
house within 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour. And so you mean to tell me that you're not even going to send a caseworker over there to even kind of take a look to see what if there's other children over there? You're not going to do anything? And she said, no. Those was her exact words. No. And she kept apologizing. I'm sorry. I did not know that CPS can pick and choose what cases they are going to investigate. I
Mm.
thought the CPS case was called, they had to do their due diligence and at least go do an investigation. My
Yeah.
son told me last week that the reason why the teacher allowed him to live with him was because he had a room available, because there was another black young boy written that room out for $400 a month named Angel. I said, well, what color was Angel? He was
How much? How much did you just say that was paying rent?
yeah, $400 to rent a room. Yeah. But
Now, Miss,
Angel,
hold on, Tiara.
okay,
Hold on.
okay.
Miss America, you in here, you got a foundation, and I need to know this. When she told me this, I said, how is her child underage staying in a look? She said 400. I wrote it down. Staying in a nonprofit, y'all, organization home and charging this little boy, these kids, $400. Go ahead, Tara. What did he say about Angel? Mm.
Angel got on drugs and he couldn't pay his rent, so the teacher put him out. And
And that
so
stood out to me when Tiara told me that. I said Angel was on drugs, and because I don't want to keep you long, I know we
no,
very
go ahead.
okay. You fine. Um,
Hmm.
something I asked you, and I know it's hard already for you, but I got to and ask you again. Do you think, and I'm being honest, do you think anything sexually was going on, Tiara?
I will say this, knowing my son, I don't think so because my son is girl crazy, and my son, he's not homophobic, but I know that he was always against, things like that. But I will say that I am not a parent that is naive and or oblivious to think that something, it had to be something. I'm not going to say that it was that, but I'm not going to just completely negate that either, because obviously my son was not my son during this time.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked my son repeatedly, did anything, and he swear up and down, no, nothing happened. But again, like I said, I don't know who this child was. And I don't know if he was so desperate not to come home. Could something have happened?
And
Um,
something else to look into, Tiara, that Mrs. Merker, just because I never thought about this, she said, doesn't mean he wasn't allowed to have girls coming over either. Because it's something about this teacher that is using this foundation
mhm,
that I want to dig more into. I think to have children in his presence. He doesn't have a woman, he doesn't have children.
mhm.
And I'm not saying that that's not normal,
Right.
but this is
It kind
not,
of is.
this just is not normal for the actions of this teacher. You
Yes.
get what I'm saying? And I think the foundation is being abused
Right.
for his sick and
Right.
his sick tendencies. Whether even if it's with young girls, it
Right.
is something that is going on with this teacher. But go ahead, Tiara.
I agree. I 110% agree. And of course, when I say it like that, that is the first thing that comes to everyone's mind. It will be the first thing. It was the first thing that came to my mind. It would, again, I couldn't believe that he let him live there the first time, and the police specifically said he is not allowed at your house. You have no authority, and if we catch him there again, we will bring charges against you. And for him to allow him to come back to his house for a few months. Why are you willing to lose your license, your livelihood, your career? Why are you willing to put everything that you work so hard for on the line for this child that you don't even know? Not to mention a child that's not even being abused, a child that don't even come from a rough background, why
Absolutely.
why do you believe this child that much without doing any investigation, without reaching out to the parents at all, and then for you to allow him back after the police literally just told you, if you let him back, this is what will happen? Why were you willing to risk it all
Mm-hmm.
for this, for him?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. Like, not one, I mean, it leaves room to for speculation, a lot of speculation. I was floored, and I believed my son. Now believe me, I don't believe everything he say, because obviously he a liar, he's a good one,
Right,
about
right,
his
right.
mother. And I know when he's lying. I know when he's lying. But there was, I told him, I said, there is no reason for you to not tell me the truth, because what's going to happen? You've already been gone for a year. At this point, bro, you're grown. You do what you want to do. I don't have no say so. The world then already told me that I don't have no say so in your life. I
Mhm.
don't have no rights or anything like that. So go ahead and, tell me the truth. And I said, where did you go when you left your grandmother's house? And I could not find you. He said, to be honest with you, Mom, he said, I went back to Mr. James' house for a couple of months.
I know it was a punch to your stomach every time. I know it was.
I just could, floored, disgusted, just taken aback. I don't know. Something ain't right. It's just not right. And it's also not right that nobody will help, nobody will get involved. Nobody. Like, I don't know if they're just protecting them. I don't know if I don't have the complexion for the protection, you know. I don't know, that black woman with her black son, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know why. Why is he not at least not suspended, like fired, or like why is there no, not CPS, the police, CMPD police, Mint Hill police, the Board of Education, I mean the school, nobody, not even the board that
Yeah,
governs the school, the
yeah.
president, nobody, no one. I
And Miss
mean,
America, y'all, she definitely has all her paperwork in order. She got her ducks in a row. Um, and this is Mecklenburg County. Is it still Mecklenburg County?
this is in Mint Hill. The school is in Mint Hill.
Okay, Mint Hill. Okay, so this is in Mint Hill, North Carolina, you guys. Ooh
Queens
wee.
Grant High School.
So what's going on at this very moment with you and your son, Tierra? Where we at?
So the day before the video came out, he reached out to me. He said, "Mom," he said, "I really need to talk to you." And so the day after, um, that's when I dropped the live video. And then a week before that, he called the principal and asked him, "Can he come back to that school?" And the principal said, "Well, if we let you back, we would have to sit down and have a conversation with your mom and make sure that's okay with your mom." I know you lying. I know. Now y'all want to talk to me? I truly believe that he wants to include me in the conversation now because he wants me to stop
Yep.
arguing, coming at them. He wants
Yep.
to get me face to face so that
Mm-hmm.
he can ask me, please, you know what I'm saying? So that he can try to build some rapport with me because
Yep.
you are dead wrong, but you would never see my face other than in the court of law. And so, um, so that was a week before everything. He asked me to come back to that school. So my son reached out to me on Tuesday. I dropped the video last Wednesday, and so my son, um, he called me on Thursday. He said, "Mom," he said, "I can't meet with you. I have some things that came up." So I said, "Okay, fine." And so I told my son, I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "I just want to let you know." I said that I made a video. And so before you see it or before you hear about it, I'm just letting you know I made a video. And he said, "I heard, Mom. I heard about it." And so that Saturday, I met up with him at a restaurant. And when I just walked in, I just looked at him. I mean, he just looked like life had just chewed him up and swallowed him, spit him out. He looked horrible, so unkept, hair matted down to his head,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looked horrible. And so, we sat there and we talked. And I said, "What's going on with you?" And he just bursted out and started crying. And he was just like, "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry." He said, "I'm so sorry, Mom." He said, "I'm sorry for everything." He said, "I know that I can't apologize enough." He said, "Please tell me what I got to do to fix whatever everything that I've broken." He said, "I've done so much hurt and I've done so much damage. Tell me what I can do to fix it." And I said, "What's going on with you? Why? What is the problem? Like, you got everything that you wanted, everything that you put me through all of this. You're free. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to live at home. You can do what you want. You got everything that you wanted. Why are you looking like this? Why are you sounding like this? What's the problem?" He said, "Mom, I want to come home." He said, I need to come home." He said, it's just it's not right. It's my life is a mess. I messed up my life so bad. And he said, I need to come home, Mom. And I told my baby to come home.
So when was this? So they said, she said Union or Mecklenburg. What county is it? You said Mint Hill.
Mint Hill. Yeah.
She said Mint Hill, sister. Pretty P said, "Can the governor or the mayor be reached?" Have you ever took it that far, Tierra, or you just feel like where you was getting turned down from this one and this one and this one, like, and I think that's what it is, Pretty P. I think that's why she was like her. She just put it online and went viral with it, like her. Somebody reach out to me, help me. They said,
Yeah.
has she wrote Tawana Henderson?
That's my church. She's my first lady. I've been at that church for 18 years. She's the commissioner of Mint Hill.
Has what has she said, Tiara, about
I haven't spoken with her yet.
I want
I
to
have,
get her on board. I think we should get Tawana for Miss America. Look, for her to say that she said she ain't talked to her, but I think if you talk to her, we get on board. And I got some other people that I want to shout out to Shank, but he got some people that I think want to get on board with this too and spread awareness right here down here in North Carolina. Hey, Ian, you need to speak with her. Grab me and Miss Parker. Okay, Miss America. Miss America, I'm gonna send you my number too, and she said, whoever else too. Yeah, Mr. Mark, I'm gonna send you everybody's information and stuff too. I want to get to one point that we skipped over. And
okay.
when you and your husband was going to the school and try to hopefully see if y'all can catch him.
Hmm.
What did he say the principal and them had him do when y'all would be when they was that the principal and them was watching you guys
Look,
stop
yeah,
the school? And
they
what
will
was they having your son do?
they will make him sit in the PE room during dismissal, and so that him and the teacher can get in the car but go out the back. The teacher will park in the back of the school, and they will go out the back of the school and leave because they didn't want him being dismissed through the front door. Just
Yeah.
just took my kid and just hid him from me. Just took my
So
child.
the teachers, so the principals watching the mother and the father, y'all. Hold on. I got you, Madam O and Mr. Marcus. She said the principal now is watching them, and let's get to the phone call, Tiara as well. How your brother called and asked your brother got to talk to this teacher.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Your brother, remember, so they had so we got the principal watching the parents look for their child and
Hmm.
get them to take him out the gym door, get the teacher to take him out the gym door.
In
Not
the back.
only that,
Hmm.
we got the phone calls. We skipped over the phone calls.
Oh
Her brother
yes.
called. What? Let's get to that, Tiara, real quick, please.
When my brother met when my brother went to go see my son, and he met the teacher was bad mouthing and talking about me and my husband like really bad. My brother was like, "You don't even know my sister. Like, why are you saying this?" And he kept saying, "Well, do you hear how his mother speaks to him? Do you hear how plug it up down here? Do you hear how his mother be down? Do you hear how his mother treats him and talks to him over the phone and everything like that?" Well, yeah, I don't think that I'm going to talk to my son nice because my son has ran away. And so, but and I asked my son, I said, Devin, I said, how do they, why would they say that about me? Why would he speak negatively about me like that? And he don't even know me. And my son said, well, whenever you would call me, they will make me answer the phone on speaker, and they will make me talk to you on the phone on speaker in front of them, the principal and the teacher.
Let's stay right there for a second, Tiara. And
Okay.
Mr. Marcus said, please don't talk to nobody else. And she said, don't talk to anybody else in that city until you talk to Tawana Henderson. She said, don't talk to anybody until you talk to Miss Tawana. This is what gets me, guys. And I got a question. I mean, Madam Oracle had a good question too. She said, I wonder what IRS filing is that non-profit organization under. That's a good question, Madam O. When would these phone calls take place, Tierra, for the principal and the teacher to have him put you on speaker? You get what I'm saying? That's crazy work.
Hmm.
That
So this was after I found out that he worked at the Bojangles,
hmm
and I still didn't have his number. And I told that the supervisor that I need you to have my son get in touch with me. And so that's when I got his phone number, because he called me, and he got in touch with me. And so after that, I've reached out to him a couple of times, and of course, I'm hurt, and I'm speaking to him, and I'm like, Devin, what's going on? How dare you? To be honest with you, I don't remember what I was saying at that moment.
yes.
I could have been saying anything to him, but I didn't know that he was, leaving the phone putting the phone on speaker and letting the principal and the teacher hear him, me and his conversation.
Mm,
So it was almost like he was using that against me. The teacher, you are so dead wrong to even have my child in the first place, and then have the audacity to sit here and listen to our phone calls and then talk about me as if I'm the problem to my own brother. Like, they literally just took over my child. They just took my child and
mm.
just, I don't, just made him theirs. I mean, they were literally using my child against me, weaponizing him against me.
And Miss America and to everybody in the chat, she was crying out for help because she said she doesn't want it to be where they say, "Oh, he's 18 now," because he'll be 18 in a couple of months. He's This been happening since last year, you guys. She said, "Was you calling during the school hours?"
Hmm. Well,
Wow.
yep. I will. Sorry. I will.
Go ahead, take your phone call if you have
No,
to.
no, that was my alarm. I don't remember if it was me. I probably was calling him during school hours. I do know that I was showing up to the school, of course, during school hours when I was looking for him, and that's when they told him to tell. That's when they told the receptionist to tell me he wasn't there. And I asked him, and I was like, "Why every time I kept going up there looking for you, why did they keep telling me that you weren't there?" And that's when he said the principal told the lady at the front desk to tell you that I was not here. And he in fact was there. And I also have text messages, correspondence between the teacher and my brother, where the teacher admitted, since he's been living with me, blah blah blah. I check his grades every Thursday, and he's this and he's that. I mean, like, I don't even. And then what broke me the most was in the text message, because I sent my brother a copy of, like, he was missing a lot of school, and I was like, "What is this about?" And so my brother sent it to the teacher to ask him, like, "Hey, why is he missing these days?" And he said, "Oh, I can explain that easily." And he started explaining why he missed those days, and then he said, "But at one point, he missed several days because he had the flu and he was in the hospital." My child had the flu. My son was in the. Y'all didn't even tell me that my child was in the hospital sick. The
Mm,
hospital didn't reach out to me. How? My son was sick and y'all didn't even, like, who does that? Where is this okay? Where?
it's not. It's not. Mm, when again when we first talked about this, and Auntie Fee, he told the teachers, when she went to look for him, he ran away. He said because the father that her and her husband beat him, that they blacked his eye and busted his lip, busted his mouth, and he's got braces. They said they never seen anything, as far as bruising and stuff like that. They never seen nothing, Auntie Fee, on the little boy. But being mandated reporters, they still. But that's why he said he ran away, Auntie Fee. But this is crazy work. For them to now her son's in the hospital with the flu. Did you ever get a bill for that? Who paid for that? Who if he went to the hospital, who paid for that? What is going on? Like, it's not making sense. To me, it just I know how you feeling, because I got a lot of mixed emotions. I do. I got so much I really want to get into, but I don't want to do it right now unless till you talk to Miss Tawana and Miss America and anybody else that can help you with this. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody else knows anybody that can help her, man, get on board. This is not just a us movement. She needs help. Um, Look, she said, I done heard it all now. She said, this story is making my ad itch. I'm so angry. She said, right. Mr. Merkel said, right, who paid the bill? And I even told Tiara to further investigate that and look into that, see if she can find a hospital bill, if she can find any
I
kind of
tried. I
medical.
don't. They didn't use. They did not use. Well, at the time, they couldn't use my insurance because when he went for threatening suicide, that was the first time that we had used that insurance. So I don't know if it was paid out of pocket. I don't know, but they wouldn't even give me information on, because I don't know if he went to CMC, Atrium or Novant. I went to both. They won't give me the information on that. But they did the same thing with the police reports. When I went to get the police reports for all three incidents of when I went to the school, they would only give me like the face sheet, and they won't give me no report of the details of like the teacher admitting this or the principal admit.
Yeah.
They won't. And
Mm-hmm.
they said the only way I can get it, of course, is if there's a lawyer that subpoenas for the records. And I'm like, y'all won't even give me my police report. They're my reports. You won't give me my police reports so I can be able to defend, myself in the court of law or anything. And they said the only way I can get them is if they are subpoenaed. That is, to me, I've gotten police reports before from other, situations, and I've got the full report before several times. I don't know if this is just a new thing, but they will not give me the actual police, like the report, like the information. I feel like this, they're covering and they are sweeping this under the rug because the school is in Mid Hill, but the police department is in Mid Hill and it's right down the street from the school. And the detective who was working on my case, he said that him and the principal, they have a pretty good relationship. They have each other's like personal numbers, and because he deals with the principal a lot for what student, things that happen at the school. So he has a relationship with the principal. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work out in my favor at all. This is not going to work out in my favor. Not at all. They're sweeping it under the rug. They are covering for they're covering them. They are protecting them. They are high. This is them against
Yeah,
one me. Is them against one me. And I told that officer that night when he told me that he was going to drop my case, I said, I was so emotional. And I said, I tried to handle this quietly for a year, suffering. And I said, I've tried to handle this quietly in the court of law. I said, but if you drop this case, I am going to handle this tonight in the court of public opinion. And you do not want that because sometimes the court of public opinion is worse than the court of law. And
mm-hmm.
he told me, he said, do what you got to do. And that's exactly what I did.
So, Mr. Merkel said that's why I want her to be careful because it's protect their own, and I definitely get it. With what she's saying, like if you go down and see a lot of cases that's been covered on her, and definitely with a town like that, we definitely have to, we definitely need you, you know what I'm saying, to I think you did your digs with your video and stuff. Now let's see what direction we can get this really going in, and so you can have a more positive outcome. And I want to get you in touch with again, Miss America, and I'm gonna get in touch with Shank's friend. I got a interview with her too. I got a with her Saturday. I want to get you with her and stuff, and because this right here, I can't. It's make them. My skin been crawling. Tierra, today my skin is crawling. She said Tawana speaks on the town needing a long way to go still. She would understand and listen. She said, I believe. Yeah, so I want you to talk to Miss Tawana. Then let's get you. I'm still gonna get everybody else on board with
Right.
this. Tierra, it's okay for me to give your number
Yes.
to
Yes.
Miss America.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And can I say this? And
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say this. And Miss America, thank you so much. And I do understand that, speaking out against this publicly, I'm fully aware that, there can be some backlash, there can be, consequences for me speaking out publicly. Number
Mhm.
one, I have a freedom of speech. Okay. I mean, I can use that. Number two, if they do come after me, I think that it's going to be very interesting how they can come after me so fast, but I couldn't get not one person to help me in a whole year, in a
Mhm.
whole year, but in just a few days, y'all can get all of this help and legal help, and y'all want to, God forbid they send me a cease and desist, and they send me a this. That is clearly, that I mean,
Yeah.
that is clearly injustice. Because
Yeah.
how do y'all get so much help so fast? And I just been begging, you know what I'm saying, for just one person to care for over a year.
She said, no problem. Just got to make sure you got your army behind you because enough eyes is on this. Then I think that, and with that video you did, it is got some numbers on it. And somebody reached out, your son knows. So we know that somebody did reach out to let them know. That's why that principal is like, okay, he's trying to get in front of it and try to clean some stuff up, but we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I'm
He reached
glad
out to my son the other day.
he
The
reached
principal,
out.
the
For
principal reached out.
what?
Well, my son reached out to him. Let me clarify. My son reached out. Remember, I told you my son called him the week before everything and asked him, can he come back to the school? And
Mm-hmm.
so he told my son to call back in a week and he'll see what he can do. And my son called back last Thursday and he said, I don't think you coming back here would be a good idea because there's a video of your mother
Hmm.
surfacing around. And he said, I just don't think that it would be a good idea. And he said, your mother is also threatening a class action lawsuit against us. And he said, she's coming after all of us.
So now it ain't a good idea to aid and abet this child. You get what I'm saying? Y'all been aiding and abetting since last year of October 2024. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're all the way into October of 2025. Oh, okay,
No, we in
Diamond.
November. Yeah,
Um,
we in
yeah, their eyes
November. It's
are
almost
definitely
over.
on her. She said, yes, keep going. She said, you're doing amazing.
Thank
Um, she
thank
said, thank
you.
you for sharing your story and bringing awareness. Nisi said, Pretty Peace said, please don't give up. There may be others. Others might be scared to speak up. This is your calling, your purpose. Embrace it. God got you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Tanya, they definitely got their eyes on her. Hey, Steffi Jean. She said they're watching her and we watching them. Absolutely, Miss America. So is he home yet, or is he coming home here in a couple of days?
He's coming back in slowly but surely. He's been spending the night for the past couple of nights. I've been getting him back into school. He's been
Mm,
going back to school. Um, I mean, it's almost like starting him over from the beginning. Book bag, notebooks, pencils, and he's getting back. I mean, he went to the barbershop yesterday. He's starting to look human again a little bit. Starting to look clean and he lays across my bed every night since he's been back, and he just cry and he just talk to me, and I mean, we still have a long way to go, but forever that's going to be my son,
yes.
and forever.
How's
I'm
your
sorry.
husband handling all of this right now?
It was a transition for my husband. It was a transition for my husband because he was the one that sat there and watched me cry and watched me hurt and watched me break down. So of course, and rightfully so, he's overprotective of me and my heart and my feelings. But my husband know who I am and how I am as a mother, and he knew how bad I wanted my son, and he supports what makes me happy, and he know that me getting my son back on track and getting my son back healthy is important to me. And he's been very supportive, very supportive.
And I appreciate that because me and Tiara talked and I said, how did this affect your marriage? And she said a lot. She said, I felt like my husband was a part of my pain and the problem. And, when you in a dark place, everybody is a target and it's not purposely done. So I understand all the emotions. We need more mothers like you. It is a lot of mothers like you that want to protect their children at all costs, no matter what. Not touching your son for 9 months has to be one of the hardest things, because I
Yeah.
see my baby face, but not touching her, talking, like not touching her and hold my grandkids. It bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever asked her son to see if they threatened him or harmed him? Have you got there yet, or you're not there? You do. Are you more of listening and allowing him to talk more
Yeah.
than you asking questions, Tiara?
I think it's a little bit both. I think it's a little bit of both. I'm not as like, like
Mhm.
he's been through some things. Let me just say that he's been through some things, and not just only at the teacher's house. I'm talking about just being out there in the world.
Yeah.
Period. He's been through some things. He's seen some things. He's felt some things, and that wasn't so good. And so, I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to listen to him, but I'm also talking to him as well, and a lot of things that I'm trying to get him to understand. But I am listening to him more. I need to be quiet because I need all the
Yes.
information, and I
Mhm.
don't want to jump down his throat about it. I need him to feel comfortable to tell me what it is, because for a long time I've had a lot of questions, and I had a lot of unanswered questions. And he's been clarifying some things for me, and, things that I need for this interview, things that I need to be able to move forward with
Yes.
this whole entire situation. And so I can't jump down his throat or anything
Yes.
like that. But he's also told me some of the things that he's just experienced, being out there
Mhm.
in
Mm.
general. And it's taught me a lot as a mother. And I am an overprotective mom. I am,
Mm.
you know.
It's okay.
But I question, is it okay? I mean, did I do the
Y'all
right
do.
thing?
When you, and that's what I was talking about the other day, Tiara. I said um I asked that question because Auntie Fee was like, have you asked, have they threatened or harmed him in any kind of way? Have you ever asked him that? I say this, and this is just my opinion as a mother. I lost morals. I never kept the morals and values in my home with my children.
Mm-hmm.
And I questioned myself, and I told my audience the other day, I felt like that's where I failed as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I didn't want them to be bought up like I did, like it was so bad. And now that I'm older, now we the
Mm-hmm.
age we are, we're like, damn, like we had a yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the part of morals and values. We cannot lose
Right.
that, and we just because we are overprotective,
Right.
don't let your guard down and say, oh, I'm not going, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Right.
just you being a mother. And in
Right.
today's world, that's our problem,
Yeah.
not being overprotecting. It is it a such thing as being too overprotective? I think it's just society. Like with our
Right.
parenting, for real, I think we just go off what other people say, what society. Oh, I think I am being a little too hard on him.
Mm-hmm.
They're still children.
Right.
We
Right.
was kids. We had to
Right.
stay in a child's
Yep.
place. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
no. We didn't get to question a damn thing about
Right.
that. So we
Right.
was
Yeah.
children up
Right.
until we wasn't children to them anymore. And we got out on
Right.
our own. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? And my mother was very overprotective. But
Right.
I'm telling you, when I got a taste of the streets, it
Right.
hit different. That's how I became an
Mm-hmm.
addict for 20 some years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And some more stuff. And
Right.
I say to this day, Tiara, damn, I wished I should have listened. I wouldn't have been
Yep.
on drugs.
Yep.
Like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff I see that could be different, even though design is set for whatever it is. If I
Mm-hmm.
would have took my mother's morals and values, and man, I'm trying to tell you, man, it's just different. But I can't tell nobody how to raise their children and stuff. And as people's problems, always trying to run somebody else's household, thinking that how you run it is better than me. You know what I'm saying? And some more stuff that I just can't get down with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Right.
I'm so over us being so judgmental to each other in our parenting. Ain't nobody trying to help you. Ain't nobody trying to uplift you. Ain't nobody trying to encourage you. It's all put downs. We let each other down every day. I watch it.
Right. You're right.
And it's hard. It's hard when you are
Yeah.
questioning yourself and you in a dark place at that.
Hmm.
I'm so over it.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
question yourself about nothing. Cause like
Hmm.
everybody in the chat was saying, you got other kids to
Right.
raise, and it's hard to make
Right.
a decision to let a child go in society. And because I got two other kids, she's still married. She still got other children. Does her mothering stop because it's another child, and where you running around the world
Yeah.
searching for your baby, you are neglecting other children and some more, and salute P88, salute, thank you for coming through. Shout out to all of y'all. I just, and I want to be here for you. I want to uplift you, and I don't want you
Thank
questioning anything right now because you don't need that. You need support, and
Right.
I hope we start supporting each other more as Black women, as mothers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going through something in life. Some people just choose
Hmm.
to put it out here to get help with a situation and stuff like that, and less judging and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And less questioning. Like question, let's ask some real questions. Not too much dig into this part of it. They said they're praying for you down there.
Thank you.
Tasha said
Thank
I've been there. Rocky said I raised my daughters different from mistakes. Cookie Monster said I'm still overprotective, and my kids are 40, 35, and 30. I'm overprotect. Come on, Cookie. Y'all know when our kids start having kids, I had to comment down too, cause Tiara, I be calling my kids like, where they like, and then I know with me doing that, it's gonna put me and her into it. Me and her gonna fall out for a few days. I ain't gonna be able to
you.
see grandkids on
Right.
FaceTime, and like,
Right.
so I try to guard myself, but I blame me for not doing implementing morals and values in the home and being. So yeah, I get how you feeling and stuff like that. So he's coming into the home and stuff. Somebody asked me, are y'all a blended family?
We are. We are a blended family. Yes.
Okay.
So I have two boys, and my two boys were mine prior to my marriage. And then my husband has a son prior to our marriage, and then we have our daughter together.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you, Tiara.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. She said, most, and I'm still overprotective. And she said, mine's is 33, 29, and 21. She said, we always need our mothers. Okay, you hear me, Mo?
Well, I will say that, now that he's coming back around, he does reassure me that I am very overprotective, but now that he's been outside and been through some things, he sees why, I mean, because my house is, I'm very structured, there is a bedtime and a chore time and a, get off that game time. And you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Let's get these chores done, homework done, you got your stuff out for school tomorrow. Going to school is not an option. I mean, everything is very structured here. And that was the one thing that he fought me against. And you asked me earlier, and I didn't get the answer. And you said that I started to see a change in him. I started to see a change in him when he got to high school. And, his appearance started to change. And he didn't want to wear Jordans and Air Force Ones and, and dress like that anymore. He started wearing, Chuck Taylors or wide leg pants. And, he wanted to dye his hair like blue and green. It was just like weird stuff. And, I just thought maybe he was being creative, but it was like, yeah, no, you're not dyeing your hair blue and green. And
hmm
he will start getting very upset. It's my hair. And, I don't understand. He started to get, very upset with certain things. And then I just started to see him change a little bit more. But he started to compare his life of structure to his peers. And he would always tell me, my husband, like, man, such and such, mom, let them do this, and they can have this, and they can have girls over, and they don't got no curfew. And we used to be like, they ain't got
yeah,
nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And so he wanted that. He wanted, and that's why he fought me so hard. He wanted that freedom. He wanted to do, and to this very day, he just kept saying, Mom, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to be free. I didn't want no rules. I didn't want to have to ask to go nowhere. He said, I just wanted to just do what I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it, until he got outside in them streets. And
And a
that
lot
and
of times in this society, everybody blame the parents. My mom and daddy was good parents. They really was. That was me wanting to be free, wanting to taste of the streets because my auntie and uncle, my dad's sister, she allowed my cousin Sheila and them to
mhm,
have boys over. They was Sheila and them was 10 and 9, 10 years old. Marvin and
mhm,
was smoking cigarettes at
mhm,
9, 8, 9, and 10 years old. And I wanted to taste of the cigarette. You know what I'm saying? I
mhm.
wanted when we, mama
Yeah,
wouldn't let us go up there, but my father would get so mad, like, why your kids can go around your family, but mine, you
right.
up against you treat them
Right.
like your people better than mine. So mama would
Yeah.
break in and we be up there and the boys is coming over. Shella, we on the porch all night and shit. So now mama knows something happened because my sleep pattern's off. I done been
Mhm,
up all night for the past couple nights, Friday and
mhm,
Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
I ain't wait when she's over here to pick us up at 1 and 2 o'clock. We in there still sleep. Mama's like, nah, my kids is up at this
Yeah.
time. So, you know what I'm saying? I wanted a taste of the streets and unfortunately everybody doesn't make it out of the streets alive or the same. And for
Right.
me, I didn't make it out of the streets. I'm alive, but yeah, I don't know what I was ingesting in my body half the time. I don't know if I was snorting coke, Ajax, or anything. I just really
Right.
don't know what I was inhaling and stuff
Right.
through my nostrils half the time. But I made it out alive, and I never got to thank my mother before she took her last breath to tell her, thank you. And I should have
Right.
listened. You was right. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You miss out
Yeah.
on those moments. So I want y'all to cherish. I want your son to be able, because I get it. And it's a lot of mental illnesses that, like you said, the change. We got to start paying attention to those changes with our
Yes.
kids because it could mean something. But
Right.
we just thinking, oh, he just being a teenager. Yeah, this society's changing.
Mhm,
Yeah, society is, but at the same time, we got to look at red flags because it's like,
mhm,
could I caught it early when I seen this? Could I set
mhm,
him down and say, hey, what's going on? I see you trying to, dye your hair and stuff
mhm,
like that. What's going on with this sudden change?
mhm.
And things. So yeah, but is there anything you want to close out with, Tiara, before we get up out of here? I had you here for almost 2.5 hours. I want to start getting on top of things for you and
Okay.
sending your number over to Miss America and
Yeah.
stuff. She said, yeah, she's going. That's what we trying to do, Corey. Help her with that movement right there, and she's trying to do it because he's ready to be 18 in a couple of months, and she doesn't want them to use that against her. So if somebody can try to get the ball rolling for her, push in the right direction, we can do that. She said, prayers to you, Tiara. Y'all have a great night. She said, I used to tell my kids, you either want it the hard way or the easy way.
Mhm.
Shout out to Rashida. She said, amazing show. Thank you for sharing your story. They said, thank you for sharing your story, Tiara.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you
God
so much for
is good.
sharing your platform. Thank you so much to all the listeners. Thank you so much for just listening to me. I just wanted to be heard for so long. I just wanted to be heard. That's it. I just wanted somebody to hear me. I wanted somebody to hear me. I wanted somebody to feel me. I wanted somebody to feel my pain. And I wanted my baby back. And I got all of that today. So thank you all so much.
They said you are heard. They said, can we do a petition? Look, they said my son had to learn the hard way too. Life will teach them if they don't listen. They said
Mhm.
praying for you. They said thank you. They sending you hugs and nothing but prayers down. And thank y'all so much. Thank you to Bushes. Thank all of y'all, man, for being here for this mother. We need more of this. You know what I'm saying? It's not about just the mother up here. It's about all kind of mothers don't know who to go. Sometimes when we don't get people to hear us out, some people just let it go.
Yep.
Because we always feel like our backs against the wall, and it's like
That's
we
all
just
I
give
felt.
up. A lot of people out there done gave up, and I don't want nobody to
Yeah.
give up. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's somebody. It's somebody
Yeah.
that can help somebody, and that's all I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tiara. I will stay in touch with you. I'll probably
Thank
reach out to
you.
you tomorrow just to check on you mentally and
Thank
stuff.
you.
And I'll drop send me your link. Send me because Tiara does have a channel and stuff. And this story right here can grow your channel so huge with this
Thank
transition that you've been through with your son in
you.
this
Mm-hmm.
school. It ain't no telling, Tiara. Trust me, what they will uncover in this school. It could be other children that has disappeared and their mothers don't even know that this teacher is harboring their
Yeah.
children. We don't know this man. Just
Right.
because we got a foundation in our name doesn't mean it's something, it's not nothing behind us. Because,
Right.
like you said, what kind of man wants to put his career, jeopardize his career, his foundation for
Right.
this. So don't look past anything until we get everything. You know what I'm saying? Nisi said, we hear you, sis, and we support you. She said, yes,
Thank
I need the
you.
story so I can cover it. I was going to ask you about that behind the scenes. Yeah, Mr. Merck, I'm going to send you Tiara's number so y'all can link up and do everything. Send me your link so we can go support you guys. I'm going to get it and I'm going to share it in the comment section of this video. Make sure y'all tap the arrow. Keep supporting all the mothers that was down there saying that they're going through this kind of the same thing. And y'all reach out to me as well if y'all need to get in touch with Mr. Merck and some other people, because the people I'm hooking you up with is down here in South Carolina. Shank Rock's been working with them on some other
Okay.
stuff that's going on down here in North Carolina. A lot of sad stuff
Yeah.
with these babies being unalived and stuff. It's crazy. But Tara, you have my prayers and
Thank
stuff, and God has allowed your son to come back to you, and he's getting
you.
himself together. The barbershop is everything. He's getting cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
getting your baby back and let God lead him back. And as parents too, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but we have to respect our children too.
Yes. I
We have
agree.
to listen. I get that they children, but in
Hmm.
order for us to get our kids to be comfortable to tell
Hmm.
us stuff, we got to stop doing this and
Yeah.
do what it is. Okay.
I agree.
Thank you, Tiara.
Oh, thank you so
It's
much.
been a blessing. It's been a blessing. It's been a good show. I appreciate you so much. Your tears have been our tears. Your pain has been ours. Because I definitely felt you had me rocking and shit. My legs over here. I'm like, give me the teacher's mouth. I need to hit somebody. I've been needing to hit somebody for a few
Well,
days.
I feel better if you ready. If you rocking, I'm rolling. Okay, listen.
Yes.
Yes, but thank
Yes.
you so much. I thank you so much for sharing your platform with me. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you all so much for listening to me. I feel heard. I feel heard, and I feel supported. I do.
Yes, you
Thank
got, you got, you got, you got your community right here. We pushing behind you, and we push behind anybody. And also, if anybody needs help for Thanksgiving, don't be ashamed. Please hit my email and let me know. I want to help at least 3 families, hopefully 4, for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, y'all. So I know y'all need some things. If it's paper plates, cups, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Please hit me up. Respectfully, and everything's anonymous. Nothing will never be said and stuff like that. I just want to give back something I took for the communities for so many years. I don't
you.
care if it's you, Tiara. If y'all need anything, let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to give back something. It's
And I'm
finally
willing to contribute. So please let me know.
okay. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Just clock it. Okay, Mia. Yes, let me drop my email, Mia, for you. Um, can one of the mods drop both emails for me? Mods, please drop the emails for Mia. If y'all need some support for the holidays, they're coming up, and it's okay. The shutdown is hitting us like crazy, and sometimes it's work. We robbing Peter to pay Paul, meaning that we just trying to keep our heads above water out here. And the president is causing so much chaos in this country that I get it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't that you just don't got it. It's maybe that, you just need a little extra help, and I want to do that for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So if you do need that help, just hit me up. She said, I always respect them. There are someone, father, mother, wife, husband, too. Yes, Mo, appreciate it, agreed. She said, sir, this live, get the word out. Do you have an email so I can send something to help? Who, Shay, do you need my email or Tiara's? Pretty P said, amen. And Pretty P let everybody know over there with you and Lack. I don't care who it is, whoever it is that needs some help. Keep it anonymous, Pretty P, because I will as well. I don't want nobody's business out there as far as stuff like that. And so I
And
want
I
to
just
help.
sent you my email as well, just in case if anybody wanted my email. I just sent it to you.
Okay, text it to me.
I just texted to you. And I
Okay,
text you. You see the picture that I text you.
I got it. I got it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely got that. We on to that one. You know what I'm saying and
Yeah.
stuff. So I was already on top of it.
Okay.
But thank you, Tiara, again. You go have a blessed night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday with your family. And I hope your son comes home tonight, lay across that bed, and
Yeah.
talks to his mother. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Would you like me to drop you down, Tiara? You know how to drop down?
What you mean? Like come out of
Yeah,
it?
do you know how to get down off the panel?
Yep. Let me see. I think so. But first, let me just say bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for
Bye, love.
support. I really
You're
appreciate
great. You're amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Um,
You are
yeah,
too.
I appreciate you again. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, check up on
Okay.
everything, see how he's doing and stuff like that, how everything went tonight, and I'm
Okay.
gonna just keep up with you for a while. You stuck. I think you stuck with me at this point
I
and
love
stuff.
it.
I appreciate you and give me your social media information too in the text so
Okay.
I can drop it in the comment section of this video and
Okay.
stuff. So
All
yes,
right.
thank
I'll text
you.
that to you. You all
All
have a
right,
good night. Thank you
all
so much.
right.
All
All
right.
right, sister. Man, it's gonna be a beautiful Thanksgiving for some families. It's all kind of people on the internet that's trying to help. That I think I seen. Are you having a page for helping people? Yeah, I think I will tomorrow, Shay. Tomorrow I'm doing the gingerbread house contest too. I think I'm doing 5 people and they can win $300. 5 people. And it's not just making the gingerbread house. They got to do their karaoke song, their favorite Christmas song, and it's got to be in a holiday cheerful spirit outfit. Okay. I appreciate Tiara again. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. She do, Corey. She do. I am Mr. Merk. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Thank y'all for telling me to set up the page for that. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. I think so. I think so. If y'all know anybody that needs help, please tell them to get in touch with me. You know what I'm saying? It's okay not to be okay. Remember that. You know, and this time of year, mental illness is really clouded. Your judgment is clouded in everything, y'all. This is one of the worst times when you're dealing with mental illness. I know because I deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, okay? Y'all go continue to have a blessed night. And thank you so much for being over to support Tiara.
Miss Parker, the YouTube star, lighting up the screen, you know who you are. Bringing news you can use and a laugh or two. She's got the facts, the fun, and the realest view. With a voice so smooth and a smile so bright, she's shining like a beacon in the darkest night. Deep dives on the stories that really matter. She's breaking it down, cutting through the chatter. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home. She's got a little something for everyone. With a heart so big and an attitude strong. Miss Parker's where you know you belong. She's an advocate, a friend, a voice for the unheard. Asking all the questions, never missing a word. Or a second to none. She's blazing like the sun. Miss Parker, the only one. She's got the news to amuse and the truth to reveal. Digging for the answers, keeping it real. For those who need a champion, she's standing tall. Fighting for justice, she's giving her all. With every upload, she's making a change. Bringing people together, no matter the range. So hit that subscribe, don't miss a beat. Miss Parker's got the content that can't be beat. Questions we all have, she's not afraid to ask. Uncovering the story, she's up to the task. With a laugh, a wink, and a spirit so true. Miss Parker's got the magic and she's sharing it with you. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home. She's got a little something for everyone. With a heart so big and an attitude strong. Miss Parker's where you know you belong. She's an advocate, a friend, a voice for the unheard. Asking all the questions, never missing